You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
On fiscal policy and tax reform. Welcome back. Mr. Taiwo Oyedele is the Chairman, Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Oyedele, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning.
All right, fantastic. It's good to have you here. And I have to say, a lot of Nigerians are angry, especially that has to do with the 5%. I was listening to the radio this morning. People are angry. I looked at the front pages of the newspaper. They are very upset. What has been brought upon them, already hardship. And it's okay, no problem. Thank God we have you to give that background explainer, and then they are going to respond in questions. So I know that you have something to share with us in terms of what this tax eventually will do. You've been explaining this for as long as I can remember, but Nigerians don't want to hear anything that has to do with tax. Maybe it's an opportunity again for us to get to see, again, the pros or the cons, if you will. What is false and what is true? Because I follow through the social media, and I heard a lot of things, and I was like, okay, is this really in the law, or is not in the law, or is a hyperbole? So help us make sense of what we're dealing with as we gear towards 2026, when this whole policy will take effect in terms of our laws.
Yes, thank you very much once again, and good morning to Nigerians. So yes, you're right. Many Nigerians are angry because it's not peculiar to Nigeria. So anywhere in the world, when people hear about taxes, their initial reaction is to always want to push back and to just want to say no. So what we've actually seen is even the reform that is ongoing around taxation, while the bulk of those reforms are to reduce taxes, both the number of taxes, the tax rates, the tax burden. There are even instances where we share a post that is saying that small businesses have now been exempted, and you see comment there and somebody is still abusing us to say you don't know more than tax. So that's understandable for people to be angry, especially when they feel like they're not seeing the returns or benefit for the taxes that they pay. But I think it's also important for us because our objectives are the same. We want a better country for ourselves, that we should therefore be more attentive to the details of reforms. So it's not just everything that we have to then start complaining about, even when the intentions are for the benefit of the country. So these tax reforms, like you rightly mentioned, they are into 4 different laws. And altogether, these tax laws are introducing over 200 measures and changes to the tax system. Because there's always the temptation to go with a single story or a single narrative. There was a time when we're still working on the bills with the National Assembly that you would think that the whole bill was about VAT sharing formula. So in the past few days now, it's been about the surcharge on fuel. A couple of weeks before then, it was about the 800,000 at 0%, and anything above that, people will pay 20%. And some of these things are just people not fully understanding what the law provides, and people who either, for whatever reasons, just decide to cook up things that they don't even fully understand. And suddenly, everybody's a tax expert trying to analyze what the tax law says. And sometimes they say it with so much confidence, and you want to believe what they're saying, even when it is wrong. So, thanks to Channel for this platform to try and clarify some of the issues. And my job here today is not to try and speak for the government. That's not the job that's been given to me, is to lead some very patriotic and eminent Nigerians from all walks of life to try and reform an important aspect of our economy. So that's what I'm here for. So the proverbial, elephant and the blind man is that the blind man touching the elephant and seeing different parts of it, and they concluded, as one thought it was a fan, one thought it was a snake, one thought it was a spear, and so on and so forth, and none of them got the right answer because they did not see the big picture or the complete picture. So my encouragement to Nigerians is just spend time and look at details of those laws. We've shared them, on our website, fiscalreforms.ng. You can download copies of those laws. You see a lot of analysis we have done. Because at the end of the day, if you don't focus on what will benefit you, you may just miss out on the advantages of the reforms. One thing I can tell you with all sincerity is that those reforms will benefit all Nigerians, particularly the low income, middle income, as well as small businesses, as well as industries as well, including manufacturers. So having said that, let me quickly speak to the surcharge on fuel. So one very important message for people to know is that this surcharge was not introduced by this government. It was introduced in 2007. And then it wasn't implemented because government was subsidizing fuel. So while we were doing this tax reform, it wasn't even in the original proposal. So it wasn't like the president proposed it to the National Assembly. But in the process of working on the bills, these issues came up. And then the decision was made that we shouldn't have different agencies collecting taxes. So the law that set up these surcharge mandated FEMA, that's the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, to collect this surcharge. 40% of it was to be for federal government roads, and 60% was meant to go to states of the revenue collected. Like I said, it wasn't implemented. And because of this reform, many taxes, so many of them were repealed from our laws. For example, there was a tax introduced on telecommunication by the previous administration that was already removed from the law as we speak. There was one on cybersecurity that has now been harmonized, and so on and so forth. So many taxes, people easily say that President Tinubu is a tax master, he's introducing taxes, but I'll challenge anybody to tell me, one tax that this president has introduced. So most of the taxes, even the cybersecurity levy, was introduced in the previous administration. But to prevent that has been implemented arbitrarily, there are proper consideration for the stage of the economy, issues around inflation. So the decision was made to put this in the new law and to put a commencement date that is going to be in the future based on an order to be gazetted by the minister. So nobody will just, spontaneously introduce the tax and create problems for the system. So actually, I can tell you that before these tax laws were enacted, and shortly after it was signed, there was already an attempt by the agency to even collect the tax. And we have to say to them, you have to wait, you can't collect it because the new law says you are not the one to collect, and commencement will not happen until the minister says so. So there's nothing that says this tax will start 1st of January 2026. People need to get that right. TUC that is planning to go on strike to say it should be removed. I don't know what they want government to remove because it hasn't been imposed. And there's no regulation that says it will be imposed from January. The TUC should have complained and protested when this was introduced since 2007. So we only put it into the new tax law as part of the legislative process for transparency and for orderly implementation. I know everybody is concerned about the impact on inflation. I'm concerned myself. But we also know that around the world, road infrastructure is very critical. Nigeria has close to about 200,000 kilometers of road. Only about 60,000 of them are paved. This is the major reason why transporting anything in Nigeria, whether it's good, whether it's people, it's costly, it's time-consuming, and it's not very safe. If you look at the rural inflation on food and you compare it with inflation on food in the urban center, sometimes the difference is as high as 500 basis points. That's about 5%. In most countries, that will be under 1%. And the majority of the issues that we are dealing with are to do with the state of the road, are to do with illegal taxes being collected at every point when you are moving things around. All those issues are being addressed. We have to recognize that even with the removal of subsidy on fuel, which is helping government to address some of the revenue challenges, that the huge gap that we still have in terms of infrastructural development is not going to be addressed by those revenues alone. So the idea is for the country to try and mobilize revenue in a way that does not create economic distortion, that does not burden the poor and vulnerable, and so on and so forth. Some of the strategy for this, surcharge could be to time it at a time when there is an appreciation in the value of the currency. Naira gained about 1% just yesterday alone. If Naira gains about 5%, and then you put in this tax, nobody will notice there won't be changes in the pump price. Or if the price of crude oil in the international market drops by around 5%, you can also have it at that point. And then we can all focus on how do you spend this money to ensure that it's dedicated to fixing roads that can make all our lives better and bring down the prices of items. For example, we have the road infrastructure tax credits, that is done with the private sector. And we've seen the advantages. People who live in Apapa in Lagos, for example, will not make any complaints at all. Based on that policy, the likes of Dangote, NLNG, Lafarge, MTN are fixing roads. No, there's nothing that says we can have a similar arrangement for the private sector to be involved in ensuring that this money is efficiently utilized. So I think people need to try and take a step back and think about how can these work for our country. And if you all conclude that it can't work, then of course the process is there for the National Assembly to then remove it from the law. So I'll then quickly speak to a few other issues where I see a lot of misconception and misunderstanding in the public space. There's this general assumption in Nigeria that you can simply say that is your life better today than it was 2 years ago. And you then quickly jump into a conclusion that says no, and therefore it means that all the policies are bad. But I always say that that is a very wrong basis for concluding whether reforms are right or not. There is an invalid assumption that we make, which is that if these policies have not been introduced 2 years ago, prices of goods and services would be the same now as they were 2 years ago. And there's nothing that can be further from the truth than that, because the country was getting very close to a total collapse. We got to a point where there was no remittances from NNPC to the Federation account. No money was being given to the central bank in terms of dollars, and the NNPC was using future production of crude oil to subsidize PMS. Of course, we know there was a lot of corruption in that whole process, but the reality was, I think that Nigeria didn't have up to 6 months left for that whole system to collapse. And if these reforms have not been introduced, today you don't even have Dangote refinery refining petroleum product, because how would you borrow $20 billion to build a refinery and then sell it at subsidized amount and hope that government pays you? So some of these reforms, while they may not be yielding the micro results at the household level as of yet, the way we want it, they are showing the right signs from the macro level. And you need the macro to be in place before you can fix the micro. So the challenge for government and policymakers is to accelerate how you transform these economic gains at the macro level, that's the big level, to the lives and livelihood of the individual Nigerians. So on personal income tax, for example, you're exempted from paying personal income tax from January if you earn anything around 100,000 naira per month or less, which is even more than minimum wage. If you're a middle-class person who earns something around 1.8, 1.9 million or less, you will see a reduction in the taxes you pay. And then for high-income earners and high-net-worth individuals, you see marginal increases in the amount you pay depending on the size of your income. And this is how it's done everywhere in the world, to protect the vulnerable people, and let the people who have the ability to pay a little more pay a little bit more. So what you see on the screen now is some of the analysis we have done. We actually have a tax calculator on our website, and you will see the QR code on the screen where you can easily go there on your calculator, on your phone rather, and just put in your information about the taxes, the income that you earn, and it will tell you how much tax you're paying now versus the one you pay under the new law. And you see that for the majority of Nigerians, like 97, 98%, will be paying no tax or less taxes under the new law when it comes into effect. We also have small businesses. Before, the exemption threshold was 25 million. So what we now have under this new tax law is up to 100 million. So you make up to 100 million naira a year. You don't even need to pay corporate income tax. It's 0%. We didn't have this before. We also have instances of, charging value-added tax, and you can see the list of taxes and levies on the screen. That are so many. There are more than 60. These were not introduced by this government. What this government is doing is to say, this list does not make sense. Can we find a way to repeal many of them? And the ones that are useful, can we harmonize them so that everything all together that you see on this screen will be less than 10? So it will be a single digit. That process is ongoing. Some of it have been done already in the new tax law. Some of them require that we even amend our constitution to be able to implement them. Like you have things like bicycle tax, wheelbarrow tax, produce tax, radio and TV levies in the constitution. So you have to address those issues before the harmonization process can be completed. And it is this government that is saying that those issues must be addressed squarely. As a small business owner, for example, you don't need to charge VAT, you don't need to do withholding tax, and your employees, who are unlikely to be any more than 100,000, are exempted. So you can just focus on doing your business and growing. So this is the whole idea of the reforms. And even beyond that as well, we also have, apart from enhancing the net take-home pay of workers and self-employed people, we also have provisions in these new tax laws to reduce the prices of goods and services by way of VAT. So there's what we call zero-rated VAT. What that means is if you are buying an item, let's say a bottle of water or an item of food, or you're paying for healthcare, or you're paying for education, there'll be no VAT. That's number one. Number two, any VAT incurred by the person providing that good or service to you, in the process of producing that good or service, that VAT will be refunded by the government, so that that business does not carry the burden of VAT that they need to pass to you indirectly by way of higher taxes. We've never had these in Nigeria before. What we had was exempt on certain items, which means no VAT, but you can incur VAT in producing the item. So let me use bread as an example. Bread currently, under the existing law, is exempt. What that means is when you sell bread, don't charge VAT. But the person who produced the bread, the baker, would have incurred VAT on setting up the bakery, on buying oil, on buying sugar, on airtime, on the vehicle for distributing the bread, and so many other VAT, and that baker has to bear the VAT. What do you think the person will do? They will do their calculation very well, add it to the cost of production, add their profit, and then charge you for bread. So you don't see VAT on it, but there is VAT. What this new reform has now done is to say even the baker, not only is that there is no VAT on bread, any VAT incurred by the baker, it will be refunded to the baker so that the price and the cost of bread can come down. And we have this also for education and for healthcare.
Yes.
So in a nutshell, you find that these overall, these tax reforms will benefit the country. Regardless of who you might be, you will benefit. Even the high net worth individuals will benefit because their companies will see a reduction in the taxes that they pay. Yeah, so we think that people should pay attention to the details, not just run with the headlines.
All right, sorry, we decided so that you can run through, because the questions is like literally like an avalanche. I don't know how many we can take. We did tell the people that it's more of them, less of us. But before we start reading all of the emails that we've just gotten, of course, Nigerians are angry about the 5% tax, and they want it out. They don't even want it at any point in time. So that is a feeler I get. But there's one part that I would like you to clarify in just 1 minute, and then we can now go to the emails. which has to do with the monies. People on social media, people are seeing other people educating them to the effect that every money that comes through their account, if the tax people will be looking out for those monies such that they should look for a way to separate income from maybe gifts and all of that. Else, tax people will see that every other money that comes into the account is all part of income, so they will tax it. So I want you to bring clarity to that. How would the taxman know that somebody gifted you an amount of money from salaries, from every other? How does the tax person want to walk around that complexity, especially now that Nigeria, we're used to black tax?
Yes, thank you for that question. So it's one of the areas where we've seen that people do not understand what the new law is saying. So number one, whatever is in your bank account does not translate to taxable income. It could be a loan. It could be that you were buying something on behalf of someone. It could be a gift. So what the law says is that as an individual or as a company, you have the obligation to make a declaration yourself. At least you know which one is your income. So you declare that income and you pay tax on it. We call it self-assessment. So one other thing that this law has now done is, while we allow you to make your self-declaration, we will use intelligence within the system to validate whether what you are saying is correct and reliable. So I can easily declare to the government that life is hard and the whole of last year I only made 1 million naira. And government will say, but we see on your payment card, you went to malls, you went to restaurants, and you spent altogether for the year 3 million naira. Where did you see the difference? So, and it's not like government will ask you to pay tax on that difference immediately. They will ask you to explain it. So based on this thing we have in your bank account, we saw that you bought a new car, that you registered, you built a new house, and you connected to electricity. We saw that you traveled abroad. So it's just intelligence, and this is what is done everywhere in the world. This is the only way to ensure that you reduce evasion, and by reducing evasion, you can increase government revenue without new taxes. So I can say to everybody that if you have, a gift from your family or friend, donation into your bank account, nobody is going to tax that. But of course, if you are rendering services and you are receiving money into your bank account or anywhere else, and you are not disclosing it, there will be intelligence to know that you are hiding from the tax authorities, and then they will come after you.
I think it's interesting to hear that come from you, Mr. Ayodele. Such a big relief, and it also tells us of the fact that there is no hiding place indeed right now, because you're going to trace everybody through their BVNs, through their bank accounts. I'm glad that Jeffrey had to ask that question, because there are other questions as regards even those who do some illegal business, the fraudsters, 6 million into their accounts, 10 million, and all of that. Well, let's see what our viewers are saying. We have so many questions here for you. Some are asking even up to 2-3 questions. It tells you just how essential this is. So Chidi Ebere from Akuma in Imo State is here, and he or she says, when we say those that earn minimum wage or below are exempted from the personal income tax, that's the PIT, are we referring to the gross income or the taxable income? And she also, or he also says that I will need more clarity on the new rent relief allowance and how applicable it is.
Yeah, excellent question. So thanks to the person that asked the question. So this is also one area where it's not, that is not well understood by people. So when you go to the tax laws and you see first 800,000 at 0%, next this at this percent, those amounts are not the gross income that you earn. They're called taxable income. How do you derive taxable income? If my salary is 100,000 naira in a month, that means in a year, my gross salary is 1,200,000, 1.2 million. You don't take that amount into the tax table and start taxing it. You start by taking out what we call deductions. Deductions include your pension contribution, national housing fund. If you borrowed money to build a house, interest is deductible, and a few other things. Life insurance, there's a fairly long list. Those amounts are deducted. Next, we take out what we call reliefs and allowances. Under this new tax law, we have a rent relief that says whatever rent you have paid, calculate 20% of it and take it out of your gross income before you pay tax, because that amount is granted to you as a relief to reduce the taxes you pay, knowing that having to pay rent puts a burden on you because you don't have a home of your own. So when you take out all of those, whatever is left is what we call taxable income. You then take the first 800,000, and this applies to everyone. The first 800,000 that you earn is at 0%. So which means even though I earn 1.2 million naira a year, by the time I take out all deductions and relief, I'm likely to end up with something that is even less than 800,000. I don't pay any tax, even though I earn 1.2 million naira in a year. So that is how the table is meant to work. And that's why we've now put a calculator on our website, because a lot of people, like I said, who are not tax experts, and they won't admit to their, their followers that this is just their own assumption. They speak authoritatively, and then people now go with that. We've seen instances where they said if you earn more than 800,000 naira a year, you pay 20%. There's nothing like that. You can go to the calculator and do it for yourself. So I've explained both how the taxable income is derived and the rent relief. So thank you.
Let's get in more questions because we have so many of them for you, Mr. Oyedele. So Prince Oscar is here. He says, still on PIT, he says, I want to know more about how the PIT will be working, and on the long run, is there any window for tax refund for personal income taxpayers?
Yes, so tax refund is a situation where you've paid more than you're supposed to have paid. Around the world, sometimes you just, towards the end of the year, you just see a mail, under your door, and they tell you that your account has been credited with refund. We want Nigeria to be like that. I worked in the private sector, helping people with their tax compliance for 22 years, and I only managed to get refund for a client only once. This is something that is supposed to be routine. Under this new tax law, we have now created a framework that will enable people to get refund easily. One, we're saying to government, don't share money in the FAQ every month and finish sharing everything. Let's calculate how much refund is due, take it out of the money in the federation account before we share it. Because that extra amount that belongs to the taxpayer is not government money. We should be able to give it back to them once we've done, the analysis and they are justified to their refund. The same structure is being created at the state level as well. So, and if you don't want to collect your refund, you can take your refund in a particular tax area, let's say value-added tax if you're a company, and then use it to pay taxes in other areas because it's really your money. And for VAT, for example, the provision of the new law says government must pay you back your money within 30 days, no questions asked. But there's also a responsibility on you that if you make false claims, you pay penalty of 200% of the amount. So I think this new system we have built now is to move us in the right direction where doing the right thing is rewarded and doing the wrong thing is punished, so Nigeria can be a better place.
Okay, so Engineer Akinfolari is here, Akinfolari Bumuyi. He says, I am an engineer. Money are paid into my account. Monies are paid into my account. And they are to execute projects. Therefore, not all the monies are my wages. Now, if the government is to tax me based on monies coming into my bank accounts, there will be problems. For example, he gives an example. He says, 1 million is to be paid to my account. My gain is perhaps only 100K. How will government know that my gain is only 100,000 naira for them to tax and not tax the whole 1 million naira?
Yes, so the engineer has nothing to worry about. So 1 million goes into your account. You know it's for a project, and you know your gain is about 100,000. Like I said, the law says you should declare yourself. You will say that the revenue, because that's your revenue, is 1 million. Your cost is 900,000. Your gain is 100,000. When you look at the law, with 100,000 naira, you don't need to pay tax, but you need to still report yourself, and you don't pay any tax. But if you refuse to do the right thing by declaring your income that is supposed to be taxable or exempt, and then government after 2 or 3 years now says, well, we saw 1 million naira in your account, and we don't know what it is. So we'd assume that it's a taxable income unless you prove otherwise. So again, nothing to worry about for those who want to do the right thing. But for those who are hiding, and some of them are earning illegal income, some of them, it's not even just the bank account. There's a lot of intelligence around. and that this system will help us put together. Beyond collecting taxes, these reforms would ensure that, because when you live in a society where tax evasion is allowed to thrive, what it does is that if you and I are operating in the same sector, doing the same business, and you're the honest guy trying to do the right thing, and I'm the guy who is just doing whatever I like, so you have an advantage over me, even though you're the one that is the patriotic and honest citizen, the more of people that we need in Nigeria. So this system is trying to correct that so that we are only incentivizing doing the right thing. So nothing to worry about, engineer, about money flowing to your account. If it's not your income, nobody will tax it.
Yeah, so more questions for you, Mr. Ayodele. Issa Usman is here. I know you've mentioned this before, but I think this is a concern for many Nigerians as well. It says, please let Mr. Ayodele, Oyedele, you should say, tell us why we should pay this tax at this very time when almost all businesses are crippled as a result of this present government policies that are really impacting negatively on all forms of business. This is a big concern, not just for Issa Usman, but for many businesses as well, because many Nigerians are saying, why do I need to pay taxes when I'm benefiting practically nothing from the government?
Yes, so yes, Issa is right. So first thing is that this, I believe he's referring to surcharge. So like I said, the surcharge is not being introduced from the 1st of January 2026. It cannot be introduced until there has been a public gazette. We don't know when that will be. So of course, it's been in the law since 2007 and it wasn't implemented. So it is not right to say that this will be introduced in 2026. From 1st of January because the tax laws are taking effect. This government did not even want it to take effect immediately. That's why they put the date there to be as announced in the official gazette. If that language was not in the law, then people would be right to say that 1st of January 2026, this will take effect. But that's not what the case is. And for the other reforms in the tax laws, small businesses, large businesses should be looking forward to the implementation of the tax law because it will reduce their tax burden. Many people who really are looking forward and excited about the reform are the people who run businesses. I've met a lot of small business owners and they kept praying. They are counting down for when these reforms will take effect so their tax burden will go down. So the idea, so it is not right to say Nigerians are suffering and then this tax reform will take effect. No, it's the other way around. It's that things are hard and these reforms want to make things a lot easier for the Nigerian people, stimulate economic activity so that we can all grow together and that there can be shared prosperity. And we're saying this with all sense of responsibility because those issues were addressed specifically in all those tax laws, from value-added tax to personal income tax, to company income tax, to capital gains tax. For example, on capital gains tax, as an individual, you hardly will pay any capital gains tax unless you are selling land. Other than that, you buy and sell shares in the capital market up to 150 million naira a year, you don't pay tax. You sell your car up to 2 cars a year, you don't pay tax. Yeah, the home that you own, you don't pay tax. Practically everything. The capital gains tax has been removed. Same thing with stamp duties, and I can go on and on. And these things are written in black and white in those tax laws. So actually, the objective of this tax reform is to provide relief to the Nigerian people come January 2026 and going forward.
When people hear tax, they don't want to hear anything else, especially in clients where they...
All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Political Roundtable. My name is Ben Real. They call me Uncle Ben. Of course, I'm uncle to Gen Zs. So you're welcome. This is UB and the Real Fam. And if you're watching us for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. Whew, you can see that I'm even trying to relax. I've been walking around the clock since I woke up. I still have to go to the gym and I'm still running around the house. So please pardon me. But then I promised you guys yesterday that we're going to have this show. And I say today, Political Roundtable, we focus on the Nigerian tax law, the one about to be executed this January, which is just about 20 days away. And right now, if you haven't done your homework as a Nigerian living in Nigeria, I can tell you unapologetically that you are sitting on a long thing. So let me start by saying this. All over the world, especially in developed world, tax is key. Tax is not a bad thing. Maybe I should repeat that again. Tax is not a bad thing. There is no developed country that excels without tax. And I don't think Nigeria should be an exception. If American can collect taxes and build an amazing country with it, if the British can do the same, the Chinese, France, Germany, just name it. All the countries that we Nigerians would like to run to, including Canada, because of course, Canada is like our second home now. They all excel through taxation. So don't misconstrue Tinubu tax law as a bad thing. I believe I made myself clear. Now, for those who may get to watch this, including the Nigerian government, I am pro-tax. I support tax. I do understand that you cannot have speedy socioeconomic development without the citizen paying taxes. And I'm saying this to solidify whatever I'm going to discuss here today, that President Tinubu is not doing anything out of the blue by introducing this tax. In fact, it is long overdue. But here is the problem. In these countries where tax works, the citizens are reaping the dividends of democracy. The citizens are enjoying the benefit of paying their taxes. Myself, as well as all the Nigerians living in America, we all pay taxes, and we pay taxes gladly. No complaint. Sometimes you may look at your pay stub, just like my lovely sister Tegu said yesterday. You know, if you watch yesterday's show towards the end, Sister Tegu was here in the studio and she asked me, Yubi, every month when you collect your paycheck, when you look at the tax when they remove, is the money enough for you? Are you happy? And I said, yes, that I'm happy. Sister Tegu, look at it. No. Yubi, I don't think you are being sincere. But here is the reality. I am a happy taxpayer. I will explain. Maybe that will help our viewers understand the basis for all the discussion we're going to have on this series, because I promise you, from now until January and even after January, I will try as much as possible to create a segment, even if it is 30 minutes or 1 hour, where we're going to be educating our people about taxes. I know if you watch yesterday's show and you are listening to me right now, you'll be like, what changes? You'll be like, they want to pay, but boy, they don't call this guy, they don't give her money. It's not like that. I'm just a fair guy who like to be balanced. And I'm saying all of this for you to know that paying of taxes is not a bad thing. Let's get that cleared first. Now, coming back to what I'm saying about myself, as well as many Nigerians living in America, paying our taxes and happy about it. Why? Is because we see our tax money at work. We pay taxes and we see that money working for us. Not just the Nigerian communities in the United States. Everybody in the United States can see their taxpayers' money work for them. I don't live in England. I don't know how this is done in the UK, but of course, you know, our community here, we have members from all over the world on this channel. If you watch one of my series on UBMC, I actually show you the demography of this channel. People are watching this channel from all over the world. And if you're watching me right now, please tell me I'm lying when I said all advanced countries, their citizens pay taxes and they can see their taxpayers' money work for them. So I'm establishing this for you to know that, yes, Tinubu making this move of, oh, let everybody pay taxes. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. We all need to pay our taxes. But this is where I have problem with the Tinubu tax code. I have not seen Nigerians benefiting from paying taxes. Don't get me wrong. Not all Nigerians are paying taxes, but I know the civil servants in Nigeria, those who work for the government from the federal to the state and local government level, they all pay taxes in Nigeria. And I also know that those who work in the formal sector, which is the private sectors in Nigeria, they equally pay taxes. Those who may likely not to pay taxes in Nigeria are small business owners and private individuals who majorly makes their money from the informal sector. And the vast majority of the Nigerian population are found in the informal sector. So when Tinubu announced, I think during his campaign, when he said, we are going to widen the tax net. We are going to widen the tax net. Let's bring in more people. Everybody should have to pay taxes. As someone who has been understudying President Tinubu ever since he was a governor, and when he became political godfather, and now that he has become a president, I already knew what Bami is talking about. Remember, President Tinubu is an accountant. He's certified accountant. And you know accountants are good with numbers. When accountants look at population, they see numbers. Accountants are good at recognizing where they can pinch every single dime from in the society. So as the president, who happens to be an accountant, Bami already knew that there are money flowing in the informal sectors of Nigeria. Bami knew that even though we have oil and as many mineral resources, yet the money flowing in the informal sector is huge. And if you have friends who are accountants or you have ever worked with an accountant before, hey, accountant know they take money play. Oh. So when I heard Bami said, we are going to widen the tax net, we're going to broaden it, let's bring everybody in, let them pay their taxes, I knew Bami is not concerned that very much about those who work in the public and private sector because he knew they are already taking taxes away from their salaries. Bami is thinking, how do we get all these people in the informal sector to pay their dues? There is money, there is money. And I'm saying this for you to know that on this show, I am not very concerned about civil servants. I'm not even that worried about those who work in the private sector because I know there is no way they can stifle you or there is no way they can squeeze you. If you look at my thumbnail now, you will see Bami squeezing someone on that thumbnail. I know there is no way they can squeeze you that much because they already know what you make and they know what they're going to take away from your money. But those of you in the informal sector, it's time to squeeze your asses. So I am worried about those people in the informal sector. And why am I worried? It's because I live in a society where everybody pays taxes and we equally enjoy our taxpayers' money at work. We have free healthcare, and in some places you have to pay for the healthcare, but whichever way, those healthcares are standard healthcare. We have job opportunities. You cannot go to school or take any certification classes, and at the end of the day, you're gonna stay back at home for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to 1 year, and you won't find a job. You will always be employed. Now, you may not get a job that is paying you as much as you expected, but you are not going to be unemployed. What am I saying? It means that the way the government executes the taxpayers' money, they create an enabling environment for everybody to at least have something doing. And I also know that as part of enjoying our taxpayers' money in action, if you are ever out of job, maybe something happened, you are involved in an accident, or you fell sick, and you can't fend for yourself, there are always programs set up by government to assist you. For instance, here in the United States, we have what we call the unemployment benefits. We have disability benefit. There are all types of government programs that even when you are down on your luck, you know the government got you. The question now is, do we have all of these in Nigeria? So let's take it one step further. What about social amenities and every other basic amenities, essential amenities, infrastructures? Do we have them in Nigeria? The video I started with, you heard the government representative there. He said Nigeria have over, is it 2,000 plus kilometers of road or something, and only about, did he say 200,000 or 2,000? No. Yeah, I think maybe, is it 200,000?
He said only about 60,000 have been paved.
So Nigeria has about 200,000 kilometers, but only about 60,000 have been paved. Thank you, Uncle Dayo. I didn't know that you were even listening to him. So I am saying all of this to let you know that the government have failed. And many things that, for me personally, if you ask my opinion, I think so many things that the government should have done before considering implementing this new tax law, they were not done. And there is the issue of trust. Let me take this poll real quick before we even dive into this conversation. Give me just a minute. Poll 1. Simple question. Do you trust Nigeria government to deliver on their promises? That's our first poll. Do you trust the Nigerian government to deliver on its promises? Here we go. If you trust the government, drop 1. If you don't trust the government, drop 2. Maybe this will help you understand where I'm coming from. If you trust the Nigeria government to deliver on their promises based on their antecedents over the years, drop a 1. If you know you don't trust them, that so far so good, the government in power at one point or the other, including the current administration, if you believe so far so good, they have not impressed you to a point where you can trust them to deliver on their promises, drop 2. So that's the poll. Bring it in, guys, so that we can move on. Drop either 1 or 2. If you trust the government, drop 1. If you don't trust the government, drop 2. Now, while the voting is ongoing, let me now throw it open so that at least my co-host can chime in. I'm also going to share my link for those who want to contribute. If you are watching the vertical format, I'm going to share the link to the main show right now. Click on the link to join the main show so that you can easily access the link to enter the studio. This is a conversation about us. Don't shine. Don't worry. Nobody is coming for you. This is not we bashing the government or something. So feel free. Like I said at the beginning of this show, taxes are good. Tinubu is actually doing the right thing by saying, you know what? We need to review Nigerian tax law. Let us upgrade it. Let us remove those aspects of the law that are not really good, and then let's replace it with something more credible, something more progressive. So what Tinubu is doing is good. We just want to look at how the implementation of this law will affect us. So don't be a stranger at all. Feel free to contribute. Now, let me quickly go through the votes. Now, while I'm getting into reading your comment and the vote, Uncle Dio, I want to have your take briefly. By January 1st, this new tax law will take effect. Are you prepared for it, sir? Are you ready for it?
Yes, sir. If you are saying that as a Nigerian, whether we are prepared for it, I don't think Nigeria is prepared for it yet. And I tell you why. Number one, many gray areas are yet to be addressed. And then even the man speaking said that education of the people is a very, very paramount issue, because many people don't even know all the intricacies in this new tax law and whatever. Right. And the backdrop also is that over the years, government after government, up till this present government, in the last 2 to 3 years now that he has been in power, we have not seen the benefit of the taxes that have been paid. It's not about having the whole country in a basket paying tax. It's about you, the bit one that you are still collecting. Let the people feel it that okay, if people see that you are doing something with the one that you have been collecting so far, and that now you want to like expand the net so that you can get more money and do more, of course they'll be willing to go ahead with you. But for the past years, where are the benefits? It's the same thing we have been talking about since the 90s. No electricity, no roads, no water, no social infrastructure. It's still the same thing we're still talking about today. This same president promised in his campaign that we should not worry, no matter what, he will give us electricity. Uncle Beno, as I'm talking to you now, I'm in darkness in my own house. No light. No, it's not funny.
I'm sorry.
It's not funny.
I'm sorry,
sir.
I can't help it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
So now tell me, how can anybody trust such a government that, oh, don't worry, when you collect tax now, we are going to give you this, we are going to give you that. When there is nothing to show for it, when there is not to even prove that you have the best interest of the people at heart, because over time you'll be seeing promises that are be failing woefully. This one is just about to, the video is still on the net, whereby he promised, no worry, no matter what, I will give you electricity. 2 years gone now, no light, and we are still in it. And he was even boasting that if he does not give us electricity, there's no vote for him. Now nobody's talking about that again. How many promises were made that were yet to be fulfilled, or that are not even being looked upon again? So the people are tired. They are tired. So you cannot now come again and say, don't worry, once we implement this tax law now, everything will be fine. We are going to build roads. We are going to, for crying out loud. Are we fools? No, sir, it will not work. Nigerians are not ready for it. Thank you.
All right. So you are not ready for it, Okudayo. I get that. Thank you very much. All right.
They are not.
Loading up. I have Sister Rose and my brother Comparable Fact in the building. Before I move on, let me quickly check the poll, and I will go to Sister Rose, and then I'll come to my brother Comparable Fact. So when I ask, the question again is, do you trust the Nigerian government to deliver on its promises? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for undecided. My lovely sister Pino said 2. I don't trust them. Agbola said, do you know the number of people who are not paying tax? It's even wrong to judge the outcome until it's seen to have not achieved its purpose. The fact remains that we don't want change. Thank you, Agbola. I get you. Let me start that. I will come back to that, my brother. All right. Uncle Dio said 2. Auntie Grace, how are you doing today, ma? Auntie Grace votes 2. Oluchi 2. Abi 2222. I next. Sister Grace say 222 again. Sister Grace, you already voted once now. Badmos said 2. Thank you, Badmos. Okay, any other vote? That's it. So far, so good. Majority say they don't trust the government. All right, let me come to Sister Rose real quick. Sister Rose, just to open the conversation, do you trust this government to deliver based on the antecedents, based on what you know about Nigerian government so far? Do you trust them to deliver on this, oh, everybody pay taxes, we're going to make Nigeria paradise? What are your thoughts, man?
Then you discriminate because you read everybody else's score and you ignored mine.
Because you are in the studio already and I'm just counting the votes.
Anyway, I think you know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
Ben, stop playing with me. Based on everything we've seen, you know fully well that nothing is going to be done. You know fully well. What is tax? You tax people based on what they have. Right. How much of the population is working? And if they are working, how much? I think they say the minimum wage is 30,000. So you're going to, and remember, some of this is even going to be taxed from the bank, because they know that there's some people who may not be able to tax digitally. So the only other way to get their money is through the bank. So the market woman or the granite seller or the one who is in the farm making their little bit of money or petty trading, he puts the money in the bank for them to take it. They don't provide basic amenities. So no one is even talking, okay? And this was even before my time, but I knew that there was a time in Nigeria that had pipe-borne water. No one is even talking about pipe-borne water. Now that's even like almost a figment of the imagination. Everyone now does their own borehole. So you're going to tax people. First of all, do you know the purpose of... Listen, I'm just going to say this because I'm really tired of the nonsense, and I don't even live there. I live in a society that works. But I can empathize and I understand what's going on and what's about to happen. The purpose of taxation is to get revenue, but you get it from a source. How can you tax people who don't have a source? And why I get very annoyed and very passionate, and everybody's, oh no, I can't do anything, or we will wait for God, God will do it for us. Okay, if we have an insecurity problem now, what do you think the insecurity problem is going to be if this taxation goes through? How is that going to work? It's not going to work. And I'm sorry, I know we don't crosstalk here. But please, the nonsensical thing that people don't want to cooperate. You're not giving them the basics. They're not making money. Some people don't know. I gave money to someone a couple of months ago. He said, I don't even know the person. Someone was telling me the story and I felt sorry for him. We're talking about an unrelated topic. He said his friend literally gets ulcer. Why? He knows what it is not to eat 2 days. For 2 days. So he gets ulcer. This is the reality. And you want to tax an already suffering population? And why I'm even annoyed is that this man has the audacity. Everyone has the audacity to say that this man is going to be president again. He told you that if you don't give him electricity, don't vote for him. He said that because he knows that people won't do anything. He sees you as idiots. And I'm going to finalize with this. You can't provide your nation simple security. You're providing it for Benin Republic now, but basic security you can't provide for your people, and now you want to tax them? Really? That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, before I move on, I'm going to read comments shortly, but let me have your first take. My brother, my uncle, comparable fact. This January, the tax will take effect. Sir, do you think Nigerians are ready for it?
Okay, greetings everybody. Whoever is on the studio, I'm not where I can be seeing everybody right now, but anyway, having said that,
yeah,
greetings.
it's just my lovely sister Rose, and of course my uncle Dayo.
Oh, okay, Mr. Dio, Miss Rose. So, greeting to you all. It's nice to have you on this platform. It's always a pleasure. So, the first question you asked me, if I have to be realistic, from what I see, on the paper, this is just a paper, can Nigeria gain from this? I would say, yeah, to a certain degree, but there's a caveat to that. I think it's going to be based on the implementation and the compliance. I mean, how many people is going to be complied to it? How many people, what is the minimum wage? What are people making? Are you going to go tax people in the market or wherever? Are they going to comply to it? We don't have any kind of compliance mode whereby you can go and collect the tax. So this is the problem I have with this. But looking at it on paper, is that the right thing? Yeah, we are due for new tax implementation. What we have right now is more progressive. The way it's written, like if you make about is that about 800 or whatever, you don't have to pay tax. Just on paper, it favor the poor people. If you look at it in that way, I think the middle class, the rich people, people making like, millions of naira, even some small business that favor them. So I need to really see how that is going to factor in when it comes to Nigerian space. That's my opening statement in that regard. So we can go deep into the whole thing later.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother, Mr. Comparable Fact. Now, I'm not even going to waste your time. I'm going to just read some comment now, and then we move on to the next line of this conversation. So let me take some comment here real quick. Grace Jehovah said, the country is hard as it is. House rent is in millions. Of course, we all know that. Nasiru said, a worm in the soil is more useful than Tinubu. His heart and brain has expired. I disagree with that. I know you are probably angry, but I don't see it like that. Nasiru also said, fellow of a person called Tinubu, when we God just help us call him. No. We don't want that type of comment, please. Let's focus on the objective here, okay? I know everybody majority of Nigerians are angry right now, but we are thinking about way forward. The purpose of having this show is to educate, and as well as at least let us rub mind together to see how this can favor all of us without having some people getting squeezed out of their last dime. So please keep the comment clean. Let's keep it focused and objective. Okay, thank you very much. Two Flog River said, yes, happy because our streets are clean, potholes are fixed, garbage is collected, accelerate. Yeah, thank you. I think Two Flog lives in the diaspora. Moses Usunami said, everyone is already paying taxes. I don't think everyone, but I think those in the public and private sector, I'm so sure of that, they were paying. JC Crafty said, tax is a normal thing in a country, but in a country like Nigeria, where there is a lot of natural resources and it's being misused, even if we pay tax in this country, it will still be misused as well. Let me start that one. Those are my concerns, to be frank. Those are some of my worries. My baby girl, Abby, say, Uncle Ben, good evening. My trouble uncle and minister of, I beg you, leave me, you people that work from home. I'm even happy that we will be taxing all your bots now. Now, Agbola, is that Agbola? Agbola said, do you know the number of people who are not paying tax? It's even wrong to judge the alcohol multi, it's sin. Okay, this is the one I started earlier. Now, to address this, my brother, this is the mindset that I addressed yesterday as keeping us down. I don't know how far I'm going to preach this. I've always said this. Put yourself first. Under any circumstances, put yourself first. Don't sympathize with politicians. So, my brother Agbola, unless you are related to Tinubu, or you are working for Tinubu, or you are working in the administration, somehow you are not being affected by the lack of amenities, infrastructures, and all of that. I take it that, okay, it's good. Let's give them grace. Going by my own understanding, knowing that the government has failed over and over and over again, even if we come to this Tinubu administration, when Tinubu came in on the very first day and says subsidy is gone and promises heaven and hell and earth what he's going to do with the subsidy money, until now, we do not see any significant effect of that subsidy money. My brother, I'll be worried. If the government says, oh, we are coming to take taxes, and I know there are no good roads, no electricity, I'm running generator 24/7. There is insecurity. I have to provide for my own security, for myself and my family. Healthcare is a mess. Bro, if you tell me you want to tax me, oh, I'm going to ask you question per question, and you're going to have to prove to me that, in fact, you have to show me signs that you are already moving in that direction. Before I can even say, okay, it'd be like they are moving like that. The video I started with, that man who is explaining the tax code said, we have 60,000 of our road, 60,000 kilometers of the road tied, but we still have like almost 140,000 untied road in Nigeria. And yet, the same Tinubu administration is borrowing trillions of naira to construct Lagos Calabar Coastal Expressway, a project that may not be completed until maybe 2035, or may not even see the light of the day. Why you have roads that are more or less like a death trap for Nigerians every day? May we not even go there. So, my brother, that's my reply to that your comment. Now, let me come back real quick to my panelist. I think I see Uncle Patrick comment. So, yeah, Uncle Patrick said, the question is, what has the government have in place to cushion the effect of tax? Where are the basic infrastructures? That's excellent question right there. So, to start this conversation again, I want to start by letting my panelists know where I want to focus today's show. So on today's show, my concern is on low-income earners. I'm really not bothered about rich people. You own company, you are rich, you are blessed. It's none of my problem because you are okay. But I'm more or less concerned about those poor Nigerians now who are yet to realize how this is going to affect them. Everything that man says look good though. And if my memory serves me right, what I know about APC government generally, you can agree or disagree with me. APC government are always good on paper. APC government, they are so good with PR. In fact, I've said here one time that APC government can literally make you believe that a project that they have not started is already in existence. That is how good they are on paper and on media. And one thing I've noticed with APC government consistently, this is not just about Tinubu's administration. No. It has always been there ever since Buhari is there. One thing I've noticed consistently with APC government is they have poor execution. They always have beautiful plans on paper. Oh, we have this policy. We're going to implement that one. Don't worry, your life is about to be better. But wait for the execution. Whatever project they got going on always end up, whatever amount of money they disburse always end up in the pocket of their cronies. That's my personal opinion based on what I've seen so far, until somebody convinces me otherwise. Also, APC government have the problem of lack of transparency. I don't know if everybody is also monitoring that though. There is no transparency. All you hear is, oh, the government has disbursed so amount of money. We have allocated this to this person. Fine. But where is the result? Where is the outcome? Show us something that comes out of this money you claim you have disbursed. So to me, they have problem of lack of transparency and accountability. Also, APC government are terrible when it comes to checks and balances. It's always not there. This is not something that says, no. As a citizen, it is within our right to call out what we observe that is wrong. No check and balances. Now, with this tax and every other thing APC got going on, like I said again, this is not just Tinubu government alone. It has always been there from the times of Buhari till now, ever since APC comes to power. And you can see that at both federal, state, and local government level. APC do not consider cost of living when they are implementing their policies. Whatever project they got going on, they never factor in cost of living. That is why you have people being paid 30,000 as minimum wages. At the time they say, oh, we're going to increase it to 70,000. What is 70,000 naira when you consider cost of living in Nigeria? And then the basic amenity situation we got going on. So how do all of these factor into Tinubu tax? My brother and sister, the first problem I noticed that will happen with this Tinubu tax is execution. When it comes to low-income earners, the vastly majority of Nigerians who are in the informal sector, those selling a baba, tailor, fashion designer, okada rider, marua rider, farmers, just name it, they're going to have problem of execution with this tax. And this is where I felt really sorry. I'm already feeling sorry for a lot of Nigerians because, one, Nigerians are not good at educating themselves when it comes to matters such as taxes, health. No. So we're going to have that problem generally. Then this transparency aspect, if you remember, if you watch the first video I started with, the man repeated over and over and over again, oh, nobody will have problem. So far you report your taxes yourself. So far you are transparent. So far you can tell us, oh, I make this 1 million naira. Once you are self-reported, there is no issue. I can bet you Nigerians, vast majority of Nigerians, they might be transparent with their reporting. The lack of transparency will come from the government. And I see a situation whereby there's going to be a disaster once they start trying to collect these taxes. So don't let me waste your time. Let me start with you this time around, my brother, comparable fact. Just in 2 minutes, because I know you've read this tax, you've gone through it and all of that. With respect to execution, let's start with the, what they call it now, the threshold of 800,000 and below. The simplified version of this tax so far is that, hey, listen, if everything you make in a year is just 800,000 naira and below, you are exempted from the tax. You don't have to pay taxes. But anything after 800,000, then you are going to pay. Knowing fully well that in Nigeria, we don't even have proper documentation system. It's not like we live in advanced world. Over here, we all know if you really don't want to pay taxes through your nose, you got to keep your receipt, man. If you're running a business, you have to document everything. I don't see that happening with the Nigerians in the low income level grade and with those in the largely informal sector. So, Mr. Comparable Fact, what can you tell us as regard how you think this Tinubu tax will be executed and it will not lead to a disaster in Nigeria? Hello, sir. Comparable Fact, are you still here? You are muted, though. I can see you, but it seems you are muted. All right. Before Comparable Fact come back, I think maybe it's network issue. Uncle Dio, execution. If you have read the tax, do you believe in what they are saying about the execution that, oh no, don't worry, everybody will be okay? What's your take, sir?
Uncle Beno, before I even answer your question, let me quickly give you a background of what is on ground now as we're talking. You know, we are talking about the informal sector, which you have rightly mentioned, okay? If I tell you that the informal sector, as we're calling them, the market women, the people that are selling boli, the people that are selling beans, the people that are selling gari along the roadside, the people that are just doing their petty trading. If I tell you that they are being extorted for tax, you will not believe it. On a daily basis. What happened is that from local government, we have people that goes to go and give them tickets every day, claiming that they must pay a particular amount of tax to the local government whereby they are selling. Even before this are so-called tax law is simply, I'm telling you what's happening now, presently now. Now imagine when they now officially implement this tax law. You can imagine what those people are going to be suffering. And now, ironically also, these people collecting these taxes from these women, we don't know where the money, they claim to be representing the local government, collecting it on behalf of the local government, but we know most of them ends up in private pockets.
Uncle Dio, I don't think those are taxes. I think those are levies.
And for me, we have levies, we have taxes. Are you getting me? Now, if you are talking about levies have to do. Okay, now, what as a local government? I mean, why do I keep on going back to this local government? The Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers. One of the major reasons why we are having issues with transportation costs in Nigeria, the amount of money they are billing these people, and I really want us to also find out something again. As the levies being paid by the innocent people here and there on one side, and the government also collecting tax on their own side over what? How can the low income people survive? Yes, they say that they will be exempted because they are earning below 800,000. Fine, but the levies they are paying is killing them also. So the levies are tantamount to taxes. That's the truth. Because if you accost them, say, why are you collecting money from these people? There was a time, I don't know, maybe they're still doing it now, but I'm sure that they will still be doing it. I've not been to the market in the recent time. You cannot carry, if you go to some markets in Lagos, if you carry your own goods that you want to purchase in the market, before you carry it from one junction to the other, somebody will accost you on the way and ask you to pay some levies. In Lagos here. I'm not sure whether they are still doing it, but I know of recent, because I've not been to market of late, they were doing it consistently. You carry your own stuff from one place to the other, or you are moving your goods in a truck from one place to the other. Some people will stop you on the way and you must pay them. All those monies, where are they going to? And you're still coming back again to come and tax the same people? So we're talking about implementation, sir. Implementation of this policy is only just going to like expand the fraud net of some mischievous people in society among our government, because they will not see loopholes. It's like backing up wrongdoing with the legislation. They will now go all out collecting money that they're not supposed to be collecting in the first place. If the government want to be sincere about these things, let them start first and foremost. The ones that they know that they are doing, let them start doing it right. You made mention of something right now. If they cannot regulate the taxing or the revenue generated from our mineral resources, in fact, let's even say that one is even from our NNPC. When was the last time you see a transparent audit of our NNPC revenue? It's one problem from the other. Now we have miners mining our natural resources here in Nigeria, and they say they are paying taxes. The government has never been transparent with this. And we have individuals also, allegedly, that are mining these things and they're pocketing the money to the point that they now have enough money to be raising their own army, to be raising their own mercenaries. All these things are there. Let them start with that first. Let them give us proper transparency.
All right.
The Nigerian mineral resources belong to the whole Nigeria, not to some selected people.
Yeah, let's
How
just
come the government has not been able to
leave the natural resources?
Uncle Beno, you called me earlier, right?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay.
But I'll be back to you shortly now. So, Uncle Dayo, let's leave the natural resources out of it. Let's just focus on the tax first. What I get from what you're saying now is that the tout and community boys, they are already collecting all of this money, directly and indirectly, from the informal sector. So I get that from what you say so far, Uncle Dayo. All right. So I'll come back to you, but I just wanted to hear from Comparable Fact. Then Auntie Grace and Sister Rosa are still here. So Comparable Fact, I'm talking about execution. I said the biggest problem I see in all of this, number one, is execution. What are your thoughts about that, sir, regarding the low-income earners? Can you hear me, Comparable Fact?
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's like you are listening from your...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you are listening from your devices. Are you not connected to me directly? There is this lag in your...
Yeah, I'm outside right now. So, just manage me. I'm outside right now. So my voice is kind of delayed. Can you manage me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me break down a little bit. This is the 226 tax reform. The way it's been enumerated. So right now, the minimum wage is about 70,000, right? Originally it was 30,000. Now we have gone to 70,000, but is every state paying the 70,000? We know when you come to Nigeria. In America, or where we are, we usually use that as an example.
Yeah.
When there's a minimum wage, is very, everybody has to comply to that, every state, but that's not the same in Nigeria. The only few states that pay, close to that minimum wage, one of them, I think the highest one is Imo State. They are paying about 104, 100, 104,000. Lagos State is paying about 85,000. Bayelsa, Delta State, I think about 2 or 3 other states. Akwa Igbo, they are paying about 80 to 85, 85,000. So it's not universal. I don't know, like Uncle Daya was saying, that's going to be the problem, how this is going to be implemented. But having said that, this new tax bill, in my own opinion, on paper is good because it's more progressive compared to what we had before right now. If you're making like about 800,000, like you already know, you know about it, you said it earlier anyway, they are not going to pay tax. Like the small business people making like about $1 million, that their revenues are like about $1 million, they are exempt from tax. So in the progressive sense, the people that's going to pay more money to it is like more millionaire people making like about 2 or 3 millions, and and the business people. But here come the problem. Knowing the antecedent of Nigeria. No, let me start from there. According to the new tax law, the way they said, it had been, improved. Like the Central Revenue Authority had been centralized. They are using what they call the e-filing platform right now. I think more, it's more digital and it's more,
Right.
it's more modernized and compliance monitoring. That's what they say. Everything is more electronic, automation, withholding, campaign, and digital VAT. So I don't know how realistic is that. So based on that form, the risk-based audit, is more targeted, value when it comes to taxpayer. I mean, that's the way I look at it. So let's come when you come to Nigeria. We have a problem. Like everything, it's a very high risk. That's where the corruption, will be a problem. How are you going to collect it? The weak enforcement may be a problem. Let's call it. We know, bribery, corruption. I mean, we have a very fragmented state compliance. I mean, how are you going to, even people in the market, how are you going to get the money from them? That's where the problem come in.
They will get
I mean,
it.
I
I
have a
don't.
problem. Even how are you going to mitigate the corruption you have, the transparent, the training? Where's going to be the accountability? That's where I have problem. Can you hear
Comparable
me?
fact.
I
I
have
can
like a
hear
delay
you.
voice.
I can hear you. I think to collect the money is not the problem. When I read through the operational aspect of the whole tax system, they have everybody's account. That's where they're waiting for everybody. That man said it. Maybe I will put that video on repeat for everybody to listen to what he was saying. They see your account. They see everybody's account. In fact, why it worries me is that according to what this man is saying, the way they want to operate, Nigerians will cry you. A lot of people go carry court cases on this matter because the way they want to do it is, we see your account. There is this your account or all the accounts you have all together shows that 20 million naira came into your account this year. You only declare about 2 million or 3 million. The remaining 17 million, if you don't take time, that's going to end up being tax evasion charges. So to collect the money is not a big deal, sir. In fact, if Tinubu is still the Tinubu I know, I swear to God, to collect that money 9 days is pass. And that's where I'm kind of scared now that many Nigerians, they don't know what is coming yet. A lot of them will cry once this wahala start. They waited for Nigerians. In fact, they don't, here in America, they don't monitor your account like that because of taxes. It is after you have filed and they connect everything to your social security. They now see that, oh, you have this company or something, what you are reporting doesn't match what we have on record. That is when they start looking into your affairs. So, but the way this government want to go about this, they are already looking at your account. That man said it. It's just that, like I said, in Nigeria, we have this problem of ignorance. Whatever the government is doing, the vast majority of Nigeria are not interested. So far, they can go to their churches and praise and listen to Daddy Mommy Gio. They are okay. The vast majority of Nigeria don't listen to news. Discussion like this is not interesting to them. And that is why, even here in America, comparable fact, this one. In America.
So let me ask something. Uncle Ben.
Okay. Go ahead.
So are you saying based on Tinubu antecedent, they have created a very strong digital enforcement and oversight, and it's going to be public accountability? From what we know about Tinubu, we know his antecedent, which was predicated upon taxation in Lagos. So you think he's going to be able to implement that, when it comes to Nigeria overall?
The collection will be implemented. What will not be implemented, what you will not see, is the accountability aspect of this whole tax thing. That's the point I'm making. If you come to everybody paying for this money, I swear to God, the only way you will escape not paying this tax is if you don't use bank in Nigeria. If you are not collecting money through any digital form, including banks, that's the only way you will say, I'm not paying the tax. But if what I know about my Bahami is anything to go by, I swear to you, so far you have account in Nigeria, you will pay. When they block your account, what do you go do? Go clear them. So that's the point, comparable fact. The execution from me is where I feel sorry for a lot of Nigerians. You go see them, they will begin crying. I say, January, don't they come? By February, you will see Nigerians start crying. And the effect no go to show. Because, you will have, I think they will not start coming after you until 2027. Because the expectation is that you can elect to pay your tax monthly, or you want to pay the tax at the end of the year. Which means from January 2027 to April, that you have 4 months to file your taxes. That is when Nigerians will begin to cry. A lot of people won't even know what hit them right now. They will just carry on normal, like everything is okay, until between January to April 2027, when you are supposed to have filed your taxes, and then they don't see it, then accounts will be frozen. They are not telling people all about that now. But as soon as that man says, oh, of course, it will not affect low-income earner, but we can see what comes in. We are not going to tax you based on what comes into your account, but we're only going to ask. If we notice, there are 20 million, you only declare 3 million, then you will have to come and tell us, what about the remaining 17 million? That is when I think Nigerians will begin crying, So thank you anyway. But let us hear from Sister Grace and Sister Rose again. Oh, thank God Abby is in the building. Sister Grace, you are not even paying taxes in Nigeria, but I know all of us will choke basic for Nigeria. So, Sister Grace, what's your take about this Tinubu tax with respect to low-income earners, man? Hello, Auntie Grace, are you here?
Yes, I'm coming. I'm trying to mute my laptop.
So right now, this
Come on. Oh my goodness.
I can even hear myself.
Let me show you some videos. So you see this channel right now.
Sister Grace.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Good evening.
Okay, man. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys have actually said everything. It's not like, I'm sorry.
But the reason why...
Can you imagine this? Are you hearing your voice somewhere?
Yes, man. I can hear it. It seems like your YouTube is on.
Yeah. Okay. So,
good now.
Oh, sugar.
All right, go ahead, man. Why is UK people
So
having a lot of network issue these days?
I say you people have actually said almost everything. I just want to echo that it's okay for country to pay tax. We all pay taxes in this place. Sometimes I'm like, I have paid taxes, and from the money they paid me, I'm going to buy. They're still charging me VAT, and I pay it over and over and over again. But then again, I come into my house, there's light, there's water, there's everything. I was listening to you yesterday when Sister Peju was saying, I think she's from the UK or something, I can't remember.
Yes, Sister Peju is from UK.
The water bill, the light and everything, that is not the government. Of course, we still pay it individually, but the system is working, right? Nigeria, they pay tax. When I was in Nigeria, I started a little business. With the little I was doing, I was even paying tax before I left that country. People are paying taxes. So far, what have they done with those taxes? If Tinubu wants to introduce the tax system, what has he put in place to make sure that everybody declare their taxes? If I don't pay my tax, they will definitely catch me up. I am working, I'm in the system. Before I got my own house, when I was renting a place, and I saw that from nowhere, I wasn't getting notification to vote. I didn't realize that the landlord has taken my name off the voter register. Why? Because he was collecting benefits from the government. He doesn't want the government to know that there was a tenant in the house. And eventually, even though he removed my name from the voter register, my name was in HMRC because I was working, I was paying my taxes. And eventually, they also traced my name to the building. And the question to him was that there is somebody in the house. Somebody is working. Is that person your partner? Is that person your whatever? And eventually, he was given a heavy bill to pay back everything that he had collected in the past because the system worked, right?
Yeah.
So what is Tinubu putting in place to make sure that if you are a tax invader, this is how we can track you? The one that are being paid, what has he used it? What is the ability that is working for people to know that, okay, these taxes, we're going to pay it and things is going to work? The one that is being paid for years and years and years is in their belly, is in their houses. The poor masses who cannot even feed themselves, you still want them to pay taxes. It's just so annoying, it's so appalling when we hear things that is supposed to like concentrate on. We're talking about insecurity. You are sending our forces to fight in another place. You have not sent these forces to go and fight the Boko Haram. Every day we are hearing, people that were kidnapped, they were rescued. How did you rescue them? We don't know. Sometimes I just get tired of talking about Nigeria, and I hear somebody coming to defend them. Tinubu is working, the government is working, there is no genocide, the tax is okay. I don't get it, my brother. I just want to come in and say something. It's not like what I'm going to say is going to make any difference because you people have spoken well. Thank you.
Thank you, my lovely sister Grace. Auntie Rose, Sister Rose. Sister Rose, don't get angry at my papa. Or
Sister Rose is angry. Everyone is angry. Nothing is working.
I know everybody is angry about the situation.
Yeah.
So, Sister Rose, before I come to you real quick, somebody asked earlier in the chat where to read about the tax. So please go to the website you see on my screen right now. That is the federal. Is it federal inner revenue? What they call themselves? The FIRS. Okay. So please go to that website and click on the tax document and read and digest them. First of all, oh God, there is still so many aspects of the tax law we have to explore. Did you know that instead of making this tax law so easy for people to comprehend, they actually made it over 400 pages of a document? Nigerians that struggle to read even 10 pages of document, You now carry 400 pages, put for their chest. Lawyer go chop money for Nigeria as time they go so. Lawyers and accountant. And by the way, before Sister Rose, please, if you are watching this and you are in Nigeria and you are an accountant, this is an opportunity for you to start your own consultancy now. People are going to need your service massively. Here in America, the vast majority of us, we don't file our own taxes. We use CPA. Comparable fact, and Sister Rose can testify to that. Those who have training, accounting knowledge, and they can do it on their own, they are doing, but the majority of us, we usually hire experts to help us file our taxes. So I will give you guys that professional tip now. If you're an accountant, now is the time for you to start your own consulting firms. A lot of Nigerians will need you to escape Tinubu tax, in case you don't know, because you guys will be confused. I was reading through the entire document, and even as vast as I thought I am, I even got confused at some point. They will tell you you will not be taxed for one thing. By the time you read forward, you will discover that they are still collecting money on that same shit they told you they are not taxing you on. But that's a conversation for another day. Now, Sister Rose, looking at the implementation of this tax, considering the low income earners in Nigeria and those who are unemployed, what is at least one or two things you think the Tinubu administration should have done before they implement this tax, man? Hello, Sister Rose? Sister Rose, I can't hear you. Is it my network or my guest network? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Can hear Sister
Okay,
Rose.
Sister Rose is not in the studio. Abby, you are here. You too. Your one leg is in Nigeria. Okay, do you have any idea what Tinubu should have done before implementing this tax, Abby?
I think you should have first of all regulated income and salaries. There's still, yes, we have a minimum wage, but we are aware that not everybody has even started to earn that. So you can now expect for that to now be cut down again because of taxes. But at the same time, I feel like I think I saw somebody's comment about sometimes you have to give a chance. But the truth here is that we're suffering from PTSD. All the chances that we have given, where has it gotten us? So you have to understand people's fear, where that's concerned, where we're used to a government that steals from us. How do we know that this is going to be any different? So I feel like the one thing they should have done was even regulate income and salaries. Yep. But most especially on Ben, what I'm sick of particularly is priorities. I feel like Nigerian government, they don't get their priorities right. I feel like there's so many other things that should be done first before this becomes an issue. Why is this a priority? That's what I don't get about the Nigerian government. Why?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Instead of putting the horse before the cat, I think they are putting the cat before the horse.
Always.
So,
the same way that year they went to go and change they used budgets to change national anthem. Like what? They do this all the time, where there's more important things that you guys could be doing, so that it even makes sense to get to this point of taxes, and then the citizens will understand where you're coming from because you've put certain things in place. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I just want to say, busybody, they just want to show people that they are working, and they are working for their own stomach. This project that they are bringing, they're creating job for people, for themselves, for their inner caucus. And they definitely going to, when they start creating the road and the rail lines and all that, were they not creating money for people, job for people, and siphoning money for the project? The same thing. This is a project that they're going to siphon money from, and then they're going to create job for a minority who are also within their caucus. Exactly. This is what happened. At the end of the day, another government come, it is scrapped, and nothing happened. Nigeria remain where it is.
Exactly. Sister Rose is back. So, Sister Rose, if you are considering the low-income earners, what are like two things you think Tinubu should have done before even start saying we have to implement this tax law? Hello, Sister Rose. Sister Rose, we can't hear you. Oh my God, network issue. You see, she's out again. Now, comparable fact. Can you hear me, sir?
Uncle Ben, I just want to say Sister Rose is in America, not UK. That's all.
Because of the network, America will still better pass on away the UK. UK will now get us a bit anyway. Comparable fact. Can you hear me, sir? I don't know. Everybody network is just acting somehow today. Jesus Christ.
Are you sure it's not StreamYard?
I don't think it's StreamYard. I can hear
Uncle
Auntie Grace.
Benu.
I can hear you.
Okay, Uncle
Yes, sir.
Dias.
Uncle Benu, there are two things that I want us to really find out here. Anyway, number one, when you're talking about this issue that we're talking about right now, Abby said something that is very, very important. I think this is just another diversion from the real issue. This tax reform or this tax law that they're bringing in just to divert us from the insecurity that we have been facing in this
Ben,
country.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay, good.
So it is just a diversion. But what this government is supposed to have done, which they have left undone, and they will now look for something to cover up for it so that people will stop talking about what they're supposed to do and they're not doing and focus on that thing that they are now kind of flying before the people. Because I don't think tax supposed to be in their list, at least not for this first quarter. Let them stabilize, let them provide social amenities, let them try with whatever they've got. Let them try to put some things in place that they can now refer to that, see, we were able to build so hospital, we were able to do so numbers of roads, we were able to like restore electricity, we were able to give you pipe-borne water. At least if now we want to introduce this law that will make us be able to get more money to be able to do more, people will voluntarily give, but they don't have any track record like that.
Ben, can
And
you hear
they
me
are
now?
like coming up with that
Yeah,
law.
I can hear you. Thank you, Uncle Dayo. Hold that thought. I think I can hear Sister Rose now. Sister Rose, so what are your thoughts, man?
Ben, I'm going to be brutally blunt and stay calm. I can't answer your question, and the reason I cannot answer your question is because let's not play games. Okay, this is nothing more than fairy tales. When you read a nice fairy tale in a book and it's all entertaining, but you know it's a fairy tale. There is nothing that he could have done because there is nothing he intended to do. We know what the country is all about. It has never done. We have civilizations and countries that are light years ahead, and we cannot even provide the basics. This was never about doing any reform or helping anyone. This is all about what they always do, pillage and steal. So there was never any intention. If he knows what he's supposed to do. They cart themselves all the way to foreign countries. They understand how things work. You have to have people who are making a decent amount of money. You provide amenities. None of those things happen. And then look at the way people don't even get they're not paid regularly. People don't get their regular salaries paid. People don't even get their pensions. I know people for a fact, this is not assumption, people who are not even getting their pensions, or they have to go back and forth, bribe this one to the point where it doesn't even worth getting the pension. So if you're not paying people the pensions, if people don't get their salaries, if you're not doing these regular things, this is what you're going to do. And you know what? I really pray honestly that I get to the point where I don't care, because like I said, I don't even live there. I am very comfortable here and I can stay comfortable here. But it is very irritating to me when I see someone talking about reform. This is why we stay in the same place we are. Okay. And what is more concerning to me, Ben, is the domino effect. Because again, like I said, you're talking about solution. What solution? No good. Okay. Let me land so you know I'm not just going on emotion. I asked a couple of people who I know who had decent jobs. I said, but you have a decent job. Why are you coming to America? They said, well, Rose, I have to worry about electricity. I have to worry about good roads. So even though I may be getting this little money, the fact that I'm always worried about electricity, or I'm worried about roads. There's no good roads. That's why they still want to come here. We're not even getting that. And what is very and extremely concerning to me, that's why it's very irritating when I hear people make this nonsensical comment about reform, but these must be the ones who are going to get a job. Then the domino effect. Because listen, they're going to get that money as long as you have an account. You see, when things became, when we're coming into what is called a cashless society, when things become digitalized, okay, and now everybody is doing it. Do you know even some of these market sellers and taxi drivers, oh, enter my account, so everything is digitalized, so they're going to get it in your account. So if
Absolutely.
the person with the little tiny money is barely making it and these greedy pigs will take it, look at the problems we're having now. Look at the atrocities that are taking place in Nigeria right now. And then now you're going to do this? It's not about, I'm sorry, this might be what we call OOP, out of point. It's no longer what he would have done because he had no intention of doing it. It's what the Nigerian people are going to do. What are you all going to do? Are you going to still sit down there and do nothing? Because he's squeezing everything out of you. People literally are hungry. So you're going to cook. I've talked to someone about 3 months ago. He said already they started taking money out of his account. I've heard people saying how much they're losing in fees, bank fees. Then there are even some situations of where people went, they don't see their money anymore. Then now with the tax, the domino effect, what it's going to do to the society is frightening. So Ben, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question because there was never any intention of doing anything good. This is just to siphon money, unless people will find creative ways to circumvent what he's doing. It's going to be terrible. I hope not. I hope it gets scrapped. I hope it's one of those things that it gets abandoned. I pray it does. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Sister Rose. I don't think they're gonna scrap anything. One thing I take away from your submission right now is the fact that Nigerians are good at doing nothing. We don't ask necessary questions. See, on the one hand, I'm happy that Tinubu is going to implement this tax or whatever tax law he got coming. And when I say I'm happy he's going to do it, that is me being petty. Because I know there are too many Nigerians that ignorance has eaten their skull out. So this tax return will probably reset their brain. Because we that we live in a society where they don't joke and play around with tax, we know what's up. And that is why you will see that in places like America or UK, they no burn any politician well to embezzle taxpayers' money. Because even both the rich and the poor, all of them will come for you. Abi, Sister Rose, not be so it be for you. Comparable fact.
No, everybody will come. Everybody will
talk
come.
So that I won't be like, oh, Ben, you can't embezzle taxpayers' money. Uncle, comparable fact. How is this, sir? Taxpayers' money. You can't. Uncle, comparable fact. So, this is me saying somehow.
You're right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't know why I have a delay, it takes a delay. But anyway, yeah, everybody has spoken well, So, but let me just make a certain statement. In my opinion, I think the new tax reform, because the question he asked, is it a priority? Somebody says it's a priority. Well, we have to start somewhere. That's the way I'm looking at it, because I believe the new tax law, if we are like a sane country, what is the purpose of this new tax law? Is to increase the government revenue and broaden the tax base, improve compliance, avoid any, to avoid people keeping their money. But what's this going to do to some people in Nigeria, knowing the way we are in Nigeria? They're going to start hiding their money. We're going to pivot back to cash. I know a lot of people is more digitalized right now, maybe about 80%. I don't know the percentage or 70%. But some people is going to start hogging the dollar, I mean the naira, and start hiding their money. But how far can that go? That's where I have a problem in that. So in a long time, this is a good development. But we know about Nigeria when it comes to Nigeria, the corruption, the critics, talk about the corruption when it comes to Nigeria. What are they going to use the money for? Are they going to be able to use the money, to improve the welfare of the people? Are they going to use the money to, into the security operation, like the police, the military, the surveillance, the social way program, to alleviate the people poverty, the infrastructural and electricity expansion? That's what it's supposed to be. But knowing Nigeria, because we're a very bastardized country, corruption, epitomize what we are. We don't know where the money is going to go. That's where I have the problem. How will the money be utilized? Because Nigeria is supposed to be generating more revenue right now. Can that be properly utilized for the people to benefit from what we're supposed to be having? That's where I have a problem. Like I said, the tax system, in my own opinion, its equity and fairness is very progressive. Like I said, it's the implementation and how people are going to perceive it. Because the people in Nigeria, they don't trust the government to begin with. So that's going to be a problem in that regard.
Well, as me, I'm about to leave the studio and join you guys later if Abby can hold it down, because I know Uncle Dio, Sister Grace, everybody still have a lot to say. Although we
actually want to say something.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot on this tax return thing. I will yield to you shortly, Uncle Dio, why I rejoin you guys back in about 30 minutes. But I just want to say this. My fear is by 2027, there's going to be a lot of problem in Nigeria. I am praying, I don't want it to happen. But by the time they implement this tax, everything from January to December 2026, Nigerians wouldn't feel it that much. But from January 2027, when it's time to fight these taxes, there's going to be problem in Nigeria. Because I can see this government closing down people's accounts. A lot of Nigerians walking around and they don't know it yet. The moment that period for you to file your taxes lapses and you don't file the taxes, the only way, I've heard them say it over and over again, and that's where I'm getting this from. The only way they are coming after you is through your bank account. All they have to do is to freeze your bank account. And then you start struggling. And when that happens to not one, not two, but thousands or millions of Nigerians at the same time, there's going to be frustration. All those people we know they like to protest, all those people they say they know they come out, una go come out by force that time. So please, I would advise for those who can take their time to watch YouTube videos, listen to analysts as they educate Nigeria more about these taxes. Please, my brother, my sister, if you are in Nigeria now, start by cultivating the habit of record keeping. Especially if you are running a private business, all your expenditures, start documenting them with receipts. I'll give you a typical example now. Anyone who is running business in Nigeria right now, the amount you are spending on gas every month, I bet you 70% of small business operators in Nigeria, they don't keep the receipt. And you guys will start feeling this, the hammer will come from this government when they tell you that based on what we are seeing on your account, you have made 5 million naira in 2026. And you look at your account, the only thing you can think of is, I have just 1.2 million. Where is this money coming from? So I'm giving you professional tip and advice as an uncle now. Don't go and buy your gases, your petrol, your diesel at gas stations where you're not going to get receipt to. I will repeat that again because I know now for gas and petrol, Nigerians, they spend money.
Ben, you're talking about Nigeria. You're talking about Nigeria, where the new excuse will be where several of them will tell you there's no receipt. I know that from just my casual visit.
Sister Rose, that's why I said what the government should have done before executing this tax, they've not done it at all. There is need for regularization of business operations in Nigeria. And that's why I think those of us that live in developed world, these are some of the things we should educate our people about. In Nigeria, most places, they don't give you receipt. Uncle Daya Sheman buy receipt. Please, if you guys get receipt for where you buy so many things in Nigeria, please drop it in the chat now. And for those of you who are running business, start cultivating the habit of giving people receipt and documenting them now. Many of them are going to enter Wahala by 2027, no. Throughout 2026, I swear, Nigerians will still be saying, Tinubu, no, until 2027, because we that we live in country where we pay taxes regularly, we know that is how it's been done. You have the choice to pay monthly, quarterly, or you file your taxes annually. So those of us in developed world that we run businesses or we do any other things, we already know how to keep record of our finances. Because for me, as I did like this, I know the fair tax. You know why? I already know that if you know how tax works, you're not going to even worry.
Excuse me, Ben, let me let you know something real quick. Do you know that they charge you electricity in Nigeria even when they don't give you any?
Of course now. I know.
Oh, well,
so how do you get receipt for that? So how do you get receipt for that, sir?
Huh?
When they charge, how will you get receipt for that when they charge you for what you are not even getting at all?
Don't you have the bill? When
you have the bill.
Ben, I just told you they give you a bill when they don't even give you electricity. You're not even getting electricity, and they're cooking up bills. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Sister Rose, what I'm after right now, we all know they don't give electricity, but they are paying for it. I am just saying, for Nigerians to be able to escape some of the penalties that we approach this tax sheet, have your receipt for whatever you pay for. That's all I'm saying. Yes, they don't give you electricity, but they send bills to you, right? You hold on to the bill. When you go and pay them, you insist you need your receipt. Because these are the things that by the time government start shutting down people's account, when they block your account, you don't get choice. Now you go carry your leg, waka go FIRS office. You say, hey, I can't even withdraw money in my account. What happened? So then you will begin to shalaye. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying. I beg, who understand what I'm saying now, please?
I'm understanding what you're saying 100%. And I am telling you, Ben, and like I said, this is me who don't even live there. But from the things my mother has told me, other people have told me, even having your receipts will not necessarily help you because they still will lie. They still will cook the books. They still will do stuff. The advice you're giving is not incorrect. You're giving a very correct, sound advice. But sound advice only works in a sound, sane society, not in a zoo. Sorry to be blunt, but it is what it is.
But we have to get there somehow.
Uncle Beno,
yes,
Uncle Beno, if I may say something, sir. Two things. Sister Rose is 100% correct. That's number one. Number two is that there is something that we have to understand. Before you implement, this is an egalitarian tax reform law. It is beautiful. It is perfect. But it's like you carrying your precious jewel and decorating a pig with it. You've got to run to the mud with it, man. Nigeria as a whole, we are not ready yet for this tax. Let me explain, sir. Number one, if I were President Bola Tinubu, I will first and foremost, now the law is there. By January next year, I will say suspend this law. Why? Let us put some things in place. Number one, let there be price regulatory system in the country. Let there be proper way of doing things in this country. let people know if you pay a dime or 1 naira, you must issue a receipt and then you must get a receipt.
That's what
All
I'm
these things.
saying.
No, you are correct, Okupe, but I'm just telling you, it's like what you said earlier on, that putting the cart before the horse. Bringing this policy now, people that have never collected receipt in their life. I know, see, I'm a consultant and I do computer services for some people. Individuals, when they bring their system to me and I fix it for them and I want to issue them receipt, they say, no, don't worry, I don't need it. Some people don't even collect receipts. The only thing that they collect receipt for is if they are not sure that the warranty, maybe for the warranty sake, they will go, they will buy phone, they will collect receipt, not because they really needed the receipt, but because they only want, in case there is a problem, that they can be able to return it back and say, okay, this is the receipt of my purchase, not for accountability. So all these things, we have to reorient our people on the essence of having to make a payment and collect it. Okay, now let me even shock you, sir. Do you know that every time you make a transaction, your bank app issues you a receipt automatically? People don't have the record. People don't have the culture of keeping those receipts. See, it goes a long way. But the most important part of it all is that if they're going to implement this law by January, I can tell you, contrary to what you are saying, that they will not feel it until 2027. No. Immediately, Nigeria is Nigeria. From that January, things will change. And I'll tell you why. No, see, and I'll tell you why, sir. No, the moment they implement that tax, everybody will change. Your landlord will increase house rent. Why? He's paying tax. The beef seller, Iyelewa on the roadside will increase tax. Why?
I think Uncle Daya is right.
No, that's the truth. Bus conductor will tell you that. So
most
the fare are supposed to be 100 naira. We now become 200 naira. Yes, sir.
No, so what you are telling me now is from January 1st, we'll be like, Taufiki, she be making 1,000 CO, Monson tax you.
I'm telling you, sir. Mark my word. So that's Nigeria for you. But that's why I said, if I were President Bola Ahmed, what I've done is that I will suspend this tax. Yes, the law is there. Suspend it first. Let us put some things in place. Let us put some checks and balances here and there, so that by the time we now introduce the tax law, it will be able to flow smoothly. Now, somebody said in the chat, I think Mr. Koprebu Fatu also say that Nigeria will keep their money. They will not be going to the banks. That one cannot go far. That one cannot go, because now already I have also learned that by January this year, by January next year also, they want also improve on their cashless policy. This markup, they are going to reduce the amount of money that you can collect from the bank as cash, so that everything you want to do, you'll be doing it electronically. All these things is targeting towards monitoring your finances, which is good. But the bottom line is that from January next year, if this law is going to be like implemented, I can bet you it's like when they remove the oil subsidy, immediately everything just skyrocketed like that. Boom. Same thing will happen. Mark my word. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ooh, wow. I think we are finally getting somewhere now. Hopefully, Nigerians will begin to see what is coming. Please, Abi will be in charge now, and I will join you back in about 20-25 minutes. Now, Mr. Comparable Fact, I want you to give us one or two things from what you've heard so far, especially with respect to what I'm recommending right now to Nigerians. Because here in the States, we know how to go about our taxes. We keep record. One of the things I advise people, even my friends here in the US, and it's working for them right now, is that if you know you have very bad habits at keeping receipt and all of that, make sure you separate your business from yourself. And you carry at least 2 cards all the time. Any transaction you are conducting that is relating to your business, you pull out your business card to make that transaction. That is a very easy way for you to track your expenses for tax purposes. Whenever you make an ethnic transaction that is personal, you take your family out for lunch, you buy clothes and all of this, you use the other card. By the time it comes to tax season, if you can't gather all your receipt, all you have to do is go and revisit your statement of account. Everything will be there. And I'm recommending that to people doing business in Nigeria now. Hey, welcome, my brother Chucky. I see your sister. You are just making me laugh, my sister. You say you can smell their BS before they even idealize it. So please, my people, if you are in Nigeria, this tax where Tinubu want implement, this thing no dey well thought out. It looks good on paper. They explain it very well, but the way it go affect all of una, ooh, I've listened to some of the explanation and the thing they made me the paramomo. The more they try to explain it, because I live in a society where tax works, and I see how it operates, I can sense the BS in whatever they are explaining, and now it's going to create chaos in Nigerian society. And I know I can bet my last dollar. Now the poor and low income earners, now they go cry pass for this tax thing where they come so, because they are the target. Now, comparable fact, I'm gonna load up a video here, Abby. As soon as Mr. Comparable Fact finish, please, Abby, play this video. This video, this sister, I think she go by, I have to look for her name again, something finance. I will recommend her YouTube channel for people to go and watch her videos. She breaks down the Nigerian tax very, very well. I'm looking for the video to upload it now. Just give me like one few minutes now. Where the video?
Uncle Ben, but if you leave, the video will disappear.
No, don't worry. I will leave my laptop on. I will just I will switch it to my Wi-Fi. So even if I put on for car, I'll leave them on. You will see it. Okay, that video is very, very educative. I want to play it, and then those in the studio, they can react to it. What that taxman was explaining, this auntie was breaking it down, taking it apart, and shining light on it. Wahala day. Okay, I found it. This is the video.
Everyone, as promised, I am back again talking about this new Nigerian tax.
Okay, so Mr. Comparable Fact, do you want to add anything to that before we play this video, sir? Hello, sir. I think Comparable Fact is busy too.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm just kind of have a delay. My location, is not good at all.
Yeah.
So the point I want to make, like everybody has spoken, is it the right time to start this tax? I don't know. Everybody knows that Nigeria has a revenue problem. If we don't generate enough revenue, even from the oil and some other financial sector, that's the problem we have, because we are not even managing the revenue that we have to begin with. A lot of corruption, people embezzling money and all that kind of things, Even the oil output, we're not even meeting the OPEC quota and some other things. So that's where the problem is. That's why Tinubu is pivoting to this taxation, in order to generate more revenue. But how will that help the common people? That's where the problem is. I mean, some people has, said, is it the right thing to do at this time? Because we have, insecurity problem, all these bandit and terrorism in the north. I mean, almost about 50% poverty rate. I mean, lack of electricity. Is that the right thing to do? But something has to be done. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of conflicted, whether it's the right thing to do or it's not the right thing to do. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just lost of where to begin with when it comes to where we find ourselves. And what will that mean beginning next year? How will the country, behave? We know how the kind of people we are. So I don't know.
I wish President Trump will give me an exception to carry all my extended family come up for Nigeria, come here.
Uncle Ben,
sir.
Uncle Ben, see, there is something that I want you to know, sir.
Now, don't tire me, new.
No, Nigerian Wala is a season film. You can never watch and finish. It goes on and on and on like that. Now, look at it this way. If there's anything good at all that we can gain from this cashless policy, if they now implement it the way they're supposed to have implemented it, sir, the only thing we can get from there is that all these bandits, all these terrorists that are collecting cash, that are collecting money from people, they will not be able to do so because they will not be forced to be transferring through accounts. So which may be traceable. But what is even mostly painful is that when they even have the bank account where the money goes into, Nigerian government has not been able to come out with anything with it. As per tracing them and apprehending them, that's what I'm talking about. So, but at least if you put a check, because just imagine now, like the ransom that this guy went to pay 20 million naira cash. If they've implemented this cashless policy to a particular extent, nobody will be able to give that cash out. Then they will have, okay, transfer to so account, and then from that account they can trace the money. And then once they can trace the money, they can now eventually get the people that are doing all these bad acts. But back to the issue at hand now, my fear is this: the domino effect of this policy is going to be so outrageous. And that's what you said earlier on, that Nigerian government don't think about the effect of that policy upon the common man. They don't think about it. They always just see the policy, oh, this policy is good, let us implement it. They don't think about the effects of it upon the common man. And that's so sad. It's so sad.
All right.
Uncle Dayo, do you think there is no traceable to this bandit? That's why they've not been apprehended? Even when they know where they are, even when they know who is sponsoring, even when they are on TikTok talking, you think that they cannot be traced if Nigeria want to trace them? You think it's the money that they will pay to them that will make them trace them? That is not going to happen.
That's my point. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. That's why it's so sad.
Okay. Please listen to this video and pay attention to how Sister Flo breaks it down. Thank you, Sister Oyi. Her name is Flo, and her YouTube channel is Flo Finance. She's doing an amazing job. So please, you can subscribe to her channel and watch her videos. She explained it very well. Also, go and listen to Donaza. Donaza explained this Nigerian tax very, very well. If you are like me, I will pay attention to what concerns me. I've always said this before. We Nigerians, we like to focus on waiting no even have any bearing or impact on us. We will be busying ourselves with it rather than to focus on what really matters to us. That's why it's easy for people to fight and die for the president, even when the president doesn't know they exist. Even when the whole wahala where the policy they bring is affecting everybody equally, some people will still die for their president. Some will die for their governor, even when they suffer. Just because they say, oh, now my tribe person. This one where they come, so I am glad, God forgive me for being happy that it's happening, no, but I'm glad that Nigerians are about to be squeezed. You go cry. If you don't get ready, tax not be my money. I know the vast majority of Nigerians, you don't really know how this thing works. With Nigeria, hey, tax. Now they won't carry on a block us, put for fire. If you know what, you can go to jail very easy with tax. If they carry you with tax invasion, thereby. So please, just listen, because this particular analysis by Sister Flo focus more on the low-income earners. And I know say the majority of us for Nigeria, we still follow that low-income earners. We know Biodogun. So please listen and learn from this. Then we will come back and discuss after the video. Thank you.
Tax law that will come into effect come January 1, 2026. This tax matter, concerns us as investors. It concerns you if you live in Nigeria, you're working in Nigeria, earning income in Nigeria. So knowledge is the only way to make sure that you remain on the right side of the law. I see all your comments. I see all your questions. We will get to them all. But always bear in mind that I am just an investor like you. I am not a tax man, neither am I a Nigerian tax expert. I may know where to find the information I need about this new Nigerian tax law better than you do, because I've been investing in Nigeria a long time, for more than 20 years, and I've been using Nigerian tax laws, to apply to my investments for over 20 years. But that's about it. This new Nigerian tax law, have you seen it? It has more than 400 pages of information to consume. So please, if you know better than I do, politely leave it in the comments below. I will come and watch too, because this is the time for us to take in information, gain knowledge, so that we can come for the government from the right place. Yeah, you can't come for the government with ignorance. So you first of all listen to them, know about this new tax law. Yes, I know in Nigeria they have good laws, but it's implementation that is a problem. Yes, we know. For other laws, if they don't implement it, maybe you feel that it doesn't concern you. But this time around, this tax law, if they don't implement it, like if they don't use the money well, it affects you more than 100%, because it's your money that they are taking. So you have to pay attention. You have to listen up. You have to grab every and any information that you see flying around about this new Nigerian tax law. Me too, I'm learning. I've been running around gathering as much information as I can, asking my senior colleagues. I have senior colleagues when it comes to investing in Nigeria. As soon as I know it, you will know it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe, because we're in for a long-term learning, about this new Nigerian tax law. It affects you one way or the other. In this video, I'm going to talk about what will not be taxed. Yeah, I think we want to hear some good news first. Number one, contrary to popular belief, this tax will not be applied to your gross income.
So when you go to the tax laws and you see first 800,000 at 0%, next this at this percent, those amounts are not the gross income that you earn. They're called taxable income. How do you derive taxable income? If my salary is 100,000 naira in a month, that means in a year, my gross salary is 1,200,000, 1.2 million. You don't take that amount into the tax table and start taxing it. You start by taking out what we call deductions. So when you take out all of those, whatever is left is what we call taxable income. You then take the first 800,000, and this applies to everyone. The first 800,000 that you earn is at 0%. So which means even though I earn 1.2 million naira a year, by the time I take out all deductions and relief, I'm likely to end up with something that is even less than 800,000. I don't pay any tax, even though I earn 1.2 million naira in a year.
Now, let me show you an illustration of what he just said in Excel. Up here, you can see the gross salary of this employee, which is 1.2 million naira per year. Down here, all the deductibles: pension, health insurance, housing fund, rent relief. This one is a new one in this new tax law. Life insurance, where applicable, interest on mortgage, where applicable. All these will be deducted before tax is applied down here. So at the end of the day, the person will pay only 17,100 naira on taxes. Don't worry, I'll explain this spreadsheet in detail in another video. I'm still working on it. As a follow-up to number one, any taxable income that is less than 800,000 naira per year will not be taxed. That is why in this tax band table, you can see that I have that 0% tax is applied on the first 800,000 naira taxable income. Then 15% tax is applied on the amount that spilled over into the next tax band. Money that comes into your bank account is not automatically taxed. Note the keyword, automatically. Even though they will be looking at it, but they're not just going to swoop in and come and start taxing every money that comes into your account. If your relative abroad sends you money, they come and tax it. If your friend gifts you money, they come and tax it. If somebody sends you money, buy something for me at Balogu Market, they come and tax it. No. But it's your responsibility to do the self-assessment. You have to self-declare as an individual, as a small business. Yeah. If you register your business in a business name, you're not a company. You're going to pay taxes as an individual if you run your business on a business name. Let's say you have a rental property, you register the business name, use that business name to open an account to be collecting rent. You are an individual. You're going to do self-assessment. So at the end of every tax year in Nigeria is January to December. You have till March or April to file for your taxes. So you have to do that on your own before the government swoops in to come and be checking your account, saying that you receive payment for goods and services, but you did not remit it as tax. So you have to be proactive. You have to keep your receipts so that you will be able to claim anything that is due to you, so that you can prove all expenses, all deductibles. I'm telling you from my experience, keep all proofs. It's better that you keep proof of a receipt or an expenditure and it later turned out that is not an approved deductible than it's something that is approved to be deducted, but you did not keep proof of that. If you cannot prove that it's not an income, you will not get the benefit of, all the tax reliefs that is available to you as an individual or as a business. For people that work in organized establishments, this is not an issue because your HR will do all the job for you. I'm talking about individuals that are doing business, informal business, and individuals that even have a business name. You didn't register as a limited liability company. So you are actually treated as an individual in this new Nigerian tax law. So keep all proofs for filing your taxes.
While we allow you to make your self-declaration, we will use intelligence within the system to validate whether what you are saying is correct and reliable. So I can easily declare to the government that life is hard and the whole of last year I only made 1 million naira. And government will say, but we see on your payment card, you went to malls, you went to restaurants, and you spent altogether for the year 3 million naira. Where did you see the difference? So, and it's not like government will ask you to pay tax on that difference immediately. They will ask you to explain it. So based on this thing we have in your bank account, we saw that you bought a new car, that you registered, you built a new house, and you connected to electricity. We saw that you traveled abroad. So it's just intelligence, and this is what is done everywhere in the world. This is the only way to ensure that you reduce evasion, and by reducing evasion, you can increase government revenue without new taxes.
And that leads me to the next one. Gifts, money gifts are not taxed. Upkeep, you send an upkeep to your parents, even if you do it in the form when you earn the income, no matter where you live in the world, even if you live outside Nigeria, it's believed that you work there, you paid your taxes there, and this time you're sending money to your parents, right? So it won't be taxed again, as long as you can prove that it's not for services rendered. I believe that from the knowledge I've gathered so far, if you're honest in this tax thing, you will not be taxed on things that are tax exempt.
If you now pay somebody for a service and you call it a gift, it will not make it exempt. Because I saw on social media, somebody said, from now on, when you pay my fees, put gifts in the description. I said, Nigerians, eh? So something is not a gift because you say it's a gift. Something is a gift if it's no exchange of value to the person giving, right? Once there's an exchange of value, that's your gift. Will disregard it and tax it.
Another important tax exempt item, the one that the Flow Finance community members will be waiting for. FGN savings bond remain tax exempt. Yay! So you are safe. So government bonds, FGN savings bond, which is the most popular one, all the other federal government bonds remain untaxed. I can tell you now that treasury bills, all those short-term securities, commercial papers, you will continue to pay withholding tax on that. I am saying this based on the public notice released by FIRS in September, just this September. Accordingly, tax shall be deducted from all interest payments on investments in short-term securities on the date of payment at the applicable rate, which is 10% withholding tax. If you go to the next page, it says that short-term securities include but not limited to government bonds, treasury bills, promissory notes, corporate bonds, financial papers, bills of exchange, But number 5 here, you can see that interest on bonds issued by the federal government is exempt from tax deduction. So FGN savings bond remains tax exempt. The next one, which concerns this community a great deal, if you sell your shares on the Nigerian stock market, the money realized from that is tax exempt, but it has a condition. As long as the money is less than 150 million naira in every given tax year, and the gain realized from that is less than 10 million naira.
This tax law says if that seller is selling not more than 150 million naira in a year, they will not pay tax. Which means 99.99% of people in the stock market will not worry about this tax because they don't even have, how many people sell 150 million naira in a year? Now, the people who sell more than that are seen to be people who are wealthy. And because we want the tax system to be progressive, we say they should pay. But if they don't want to pay, there's another provision that says when they sell, they should use it to buy another share in the Nigerian capital market. So you can keep reinvesting it and not have to pay the tax. So that anytime you sell only enough that will not make you cross the threshold to pay tax.
The next one, crypto earnings. If you sell your crypto, it is tax-free as long as they calculate your losses you've incurred previously, and the current gain you made from selling today at a profit. And if you have net losses, they're not going to tax you on that amount. So now the government is going to consider your losses as well as your profit when deciding on how to charge you on your crypto gains. For Nigerians that live abroad that wonder if they will be taxed if they send money to Nigeria. I mean, you send money to Nigeria for a project, or you're coming for 30 December or for Christmas or just for summer holidays in Nigeria, you will not be taxed on that money because they believe that you already live somewhere else where you're paying taxes. And there's a way of knowing where you are tax resident. If you spend more than 183 days in a year in Nigeria, you become tax resident in Nigeria. And of course, you know that one, they know how to track your movements into and out of the country. I'm sure you also be wondering, what if I live abroad? I don't spend more than 183 days in Nigeria, but I invest in FGN savings bond, and later I want to repatriate the money. Yeah, for those of you, even though I don't advise that, for those of you that come into Nigeria, invest in Nigeria, want to repatriate your FGN savings bond gains out of Nigeria. They're trying to say that if you live in a country that has a tax treaty with us, yeah, those are a few countries, I will show you now. If you live in such a country, if you're tax exempt on something in Nigeria, when you bring in that money, they say that because of that treaty, you will also be tax exempt. Yeah, you won't be made to pay tax for the gains you brought into that country that you live in, as long as it has been tax treated for you in Nigeria. And I'm sure that you're wondering, what if you invest in something that you pay tax on already in Nigeria? For instance, you have a rental property in Nigeria. If you live in a country that has a tax treaty with Nigeria, you've paid tax on that rent. When you repatriate the money to where you live, they're assuring you that because of that tax treaty, you get some tax credit. You will not be made to pay taxes. You know, that will be double taxation because you've already been taxed in Nigeria. So when you take the money abroad, you should not be taxed again.
I was speaking to some of the investors in London recently. Nigeria has a double tax treaty with the UK. When they pay all that tax in Nigeria, they get the full credit in the UK.
And here's the full list of countries that Nigeria has a tax treaty with. They're not a lot, eh? The next group of people, companies that have an annual turnover of less than 100 million naira is tax exempt, is now tax exempt in Nigeria. But be careful with this one. The company must be registered as a limited liability company to enjoy this exemption. If you're running your company on a business name, you registered a business name with CAC, you'll be treated as an individual in this case. But if you want to enjoy these full benefits, you have to register the company as a limited liability company with the CAC.
If you have not incorporated your business as a limited and the other forms of limited liability companies, if you have not operated it, register it like that, you will not be able to enjoy the company income tax rate of 0% because company income tax rate does not apply to you. In that case, for your business name or your enterprise that is not even registered as a business name, the regime that will apply to you is the informal sector presumptive tax. So that has some level of exemption for small businesses, but not up to the level for a company. So I would advise that if you can, just register a company.
But don't go and run and register companies now unnecessarily. If your business does not require a company limited liability company registration, I don't suggest that you do that, because under the company, you may be exempt from tax. But what if you want to pull out the money and spend as an individual? There may be tax implications for that one. Will you regard it as a gift to yourself? Let me tell you. That's why in my last video, I suggested that you contact an accountant who will advise you on your own specific situation so that they will tell you what is best for you. You know, registering a limited liability company is not an easy thing. Even the registration alone, they want you to bring, declare shares, do this, do that. And then at the end of the day, you find out that the money in there, the money you're hiding in there, for you to bring it out, you will need to pay tax on it as an individual as well. So consider all these things before you run where you think you'll be avoiding tax. If you're in the agri sector, you are VAT exempt. Yeah, no matter how big your company is, you are VAT exempt because they want to encourage more people to produce food in Nigeria. And then up to 5 years of starting the company, you are exempt from tax completely because they want to give you tax credit, you know, to start your company, to settle down and all that. 5 years, a whole 5 years, you're exempt, completely exempt from tax. You know, there's a difference between VAT and tax. VAT is forever. You're exempt from VAT forever. Tax is for the first 5 years after you registered or you started the agri production company. If you're investing in foreign companies from Nigeria and you're paid dividend there, you will be tax exempt. As long as you bring it through the right channels, you're not trying to hide it. If you bring it in through the right channels, they say that you are exempt from tax because they know that, you know, just like in Nigeria, they take withholding tax from you before they pay you dividends. So as long as you bring it through the right channels, which is banks, you're exempt from tax. If you sell your personal house, as long as the house is your personal, you're exempt from tax. So this one is the capital gains tax. If you're paid severance benefits, assuming you're sacked from your company and all that, you don't pay tax on that. Up to 50 million naira, right? If you're on a pension, you're receiving pension, even though it's paid every month like a salary, you're exempt from tax. All your retirement benefits are exempt from tax because, you know, you've worked all these years. During your active years, you were paying tax, right? In fact, this pension contribution was tax exempt because you deduct it first before taxing. So you didn't pay for it when you were in active service. Why would you pay for it during your retirement? So no, you've gone through your tax years. Your pension is tax exempt. If you're working for the military, your salary is not taxed. Your retirement as well is not taxed, which is fair enough. You know, that's serving the country. This list is not exhaustive, my people. It's not at all. But these are the main straightforward ones. Some of them have serious conditions attached to them. Keep the questions and comments coming. I'm paying attention. We are not going to rush this topic. It's a very vast topic that requires our attention, and more to come as we get closer to the end of the year. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't done so, so that you will not miss any notification on this new Nigerian tax law.
Uncle Dio.
Yes, Abby, what do you want? And what's
Are
the
you
question?
there? I don't have
I'm here.
questions. Do you have anything to share
Well,
after that long video?
the woman just broke down everything that the first man that we said, that we played this video earlier on, talked about. So she just broke them down, explaining them in much more better details. So nothing new here. She was just explaining exactly what the first man has already said earlier on, but they're all good. They are all good. The only thing is just that people need to have kind of a basic understanding of all these things so that they will know where they are really affected and where they are not really affected. That's all.
Thank you. So I have a question. Do you think that knowing that the typical human being, I don't want to be I don't want to put any stereotypes out there. Do you think that the whole idea of it being 400 pages could also be a form of, what's the word? I don't know if the word is scam. They know that there's a very high chance that people are going to miss the fine print. It is 400 pages. Do you think that, in a sense, that could actually be what the government holds on to, knowing that people are not going to read that and they end up, falling into the trap of the government?
I think the whole idea of 400 plus pages was just to cover every strata of
Mm.
of the of the tax net. However, however, they could have done it in a much more um, they would have summarized it in a much more better way than going all the way to print about 400 pages just to be able to cover every strata of the economy. So to me, it may be a strategy by the government because they know that an average Nigeria doesn't read like that. They will just once, in fact, okay, how many of us normally read the anytime we go online? How many of us always read the policy that we have to agree to this
Especially the fine
agreement?
prints. Yeah.
Yes. So how many of we just go and click accept and then we go on. So
I
it
imagine
is
400 pages.
it is
That's the
not
word I
until
was
there is a
looking for, Anthony. Thank you. Deterrent. Exactly. They know.
it is not until there is a problem that we now begin to see so I've actually agreed to this. I've like actually given consent to this thing. When
Akoda, I
you
can't hear
are
you.
what the government was trying to do actually is to hide some things. And then in Nigeria, how many people can actually afford the service of an accountant or a tax
Thank you.
or a tax consultant? How many?
There's
How many
that, and then there's
can
also ignorance as well. Because I think about Uncle Dad. Remember, those women in the market, the ones that are semi-educated, so maybe ones that sell like lace or gele, those kind of people. Do you think that they would think that this is an important service to have, the service of an accountant? I don't think they will. They will just want to conduct their business the old school way.
exactly because they cannot afford it. Now, an average Nigerian that is still struggling to survive on daily basis. Okay, now why is it that an average Nigerian could not afford a lawyer? It's not because they don't need them, it's because they cannot afford it. Same thing will apply to now. They were saying that, oh, we should, I think Okupeno was saying now, in a good faith anyway, that Nigeria should go and get services of an accountant to be able to explain this tax to them, to be able to guide them through these taxes and to be able to help them to compile their books and their receipt and all. Yes, these are good advice. But how many Nigerians can afford to do that? A man that is barely managing his business, a man that is barely managing to make ends meet, now to go and pay some thousands of naira to an accountant or to the tax consultant to come and help him keep his record straight, they can't. But
Absolutely.
even the government, if they want to be, that's why I say this thing that they wanted to do, let them suspend it first. For now, put some things in place. See,
Incentive.
there are some things that, yeah, they're supposed to put some things in place first to prepare the mind of the people. By the time they now introduce this tax law, it will be easier for the people to now embrace it and to now go along with it. But as things now, it's going to meet with a lot of crisis. And I don't want this policy to be a DOA by the
Mm.
time they now finally implement it. Because if they don't do what they're supposed to do, it will be a DOA. It will be dead. It will be dead on arrival because people will not naturally warm up to it, and it will now escalate into so many other issues that may cause problems in the country that may now cause a lot of issues also. So that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Uncle Dio. Sister Teju is here. Good evening, sis. I think Uncle Ben was looking for you earlier. Sister Teju, are you still here? You're muted. I don't know. Okay, I don't think Sister Teju is here. Sister Rose, do you have anything to add, please? And do you think that the 400 pages is some sort of deterrent as well? Because they know that people will not read that many pages.
In the West, because they do the same thing in the West. They
Mm.
do that too as a way, as a deterrent, like they would say, make sure you read the fine print. What you have to understand about the zoo, I'm sorry, I just cannot maintain decorum because I just see so much wickedness. So I'm going to call it for what it is. These people just copy whatever they see done. It doesn't. It really didn't matter to them. It's just Oyibo did 400 page. Even if you listen to her when she was talking, even the tax season, when she said to file, is the same season she said in March, the same thing we do in America. So it's just monkey see, monkey do, no system. Um, Good luck. All I can say is good luck with that. I don't see anything good coming out of it, and if it, I hope it's DOA because it's going to cause a lot of problems. Because, like you said, those regular everyday women, those market people, um, they're not going to do business like that. And then okay, you say get your receipts, which most of those receipts are not digital. If they do get receipts, it will be handwritten. Then they will say it's not true. Okay, so then you try to pay for an accountant, right? That you can't even afford just to get everything together, right? And then you have to pay some tax that you owe. This is what I'm going to say. In social studies, we had something called trade by barter. Get ready for that. Anyone hearing me?
Yeah.
The granite seller, if you know the Okazi seller, make friends with him. The one who does yam, make friends with the one who does meat. Because if it was when we had cash, because even some of the cash I hear is even fake, then you
Mm.
can say, okay, you would evade this. But the way I see it going, you will find your bank account empty. I've already seen stories like that in other areas. So get ready for going back to a life of trade by barter for those who can do it. I am sorry, I don't see anything good coming out of this, considering how corrupt the country has and continues to be and gets progressively worse. I don't see things really getting better. That's all I have to say.
I agree with you, sisters. I don't know if anyone mentioned it while I was away, but I also suspect that there's going to be a whole, you know how, I don't know, Uncle Dai, maybe you can help us here. You know how there's situations, for instance, where you pay somebody quick cash just to get ahead instead of doing the right thing. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen where you would give somebody 20,000 naira, just hold it first and let me be for a while. It's going to create more corruption even in that department. Whereas there's so many other things that could be put in place. Like I said before, there's always an issue with priorities. So I suspect that is one of those situations where they are trying to fix something, but they have to destroy other things first, as always. Because again, the average Nigerian is corrupt. And then you have those
Yeah,
women in the market, and this is the list of their problems. There's going to be little boys in the market that will say, I can help you, I can help you, just to get ahead. And do you know what I mean? So it becomes a mess
exactly.
again, over and over again, because again, ignorance. Those women are not going to go and start looking for tax officers or looking for accountants. They'll look for some touts, will now become accountants, in quotes. It's
Abby,
not.
Abby, you are
Yes.
absolutely correct. It will just create more room for corruption and for fraudulent practices.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, one thing that Nigerians are good at, they are, I'm sorry to say this, Nigeria is my country. We are always good at
Cutting
doing the
corners.
bad things. No, cutting corners, doing the bad things. That's what we are really good at. In fact, when we don't even need to do it, because it's so natural with us, we just do it anyway. Because by the time they do that, the next night, another Nigeria will be looking for is ways to cheat the system, way to like cut short the system, whatever. Because they will not want to go by the law. I don't know that thing in another Nigeria that is always making them to go anti-law all the time. This law is good. It's supposed. Why do I say this? Ordinary traffic lights, traffic lights here. When the light stops on people, the light has already shown red. They will see drive past. In Nigeria, here in Lagos, here that I'm saying, it's a part of Lagos. And 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 the question is, why do you just deliberately like to break the law? Why? So for this same policy also, I can bet you it will create more room for touts, for corruption, for fraud, and for so many other evil vices. However, the sanctity of that law itself, I just pray that the implementers implement it to the core. Because it is not about the people, it's about the implementation. And if the people that have been charged with the implementation are corrupt, then you can see the end of it already. But if they are sincere, if they implement it according to the law and then according to the book, then we can be able to get some result. However, in this country, allegedly, there was a time that even the head of the Federal Inland Revenue was accused of 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 uh, of huge money embezzlement in this country. Allegedly, that was sometimes ago, not in this government. So the head of Federal Inland Revenue was alleged to have defrauded the money. So we have corruption in every area. So that's why Nigerians have lost their confidence in the government when they come to say, oh, don't worry, we are going to use this money for this, we are going to use this money for that. By the time that money comes, it becomes another story. And allegedly, that money will end up in some other people's private pockets. We have seen this country whereby even pensions money, somebody wants to deposit this in his own account, pensioners' money. He deposited it there for 3 months to be yielding interest while people are dying for lack of their pension. So we can go on and on. That's Nigeria for you.
The
So sad.
the CBN governor, I can't remember his name. He said
Emefiele.
he's
Emefiele.
No, the other one. There was another one, a tall Hausa guy. He speaks very
Oh,
eloquently. Sanusi, who appears to be very efficient. He admitted that people in the bank, top officials in the bank, were stealing people's money in the bank. Go look at his TED Talks. In fact, if I find it, I'll put it in the VIP. So this is what we're talking about. And when I keep on talking about one of the things that scares me most in Nigeria is insecurity. So when somebody's bank account is empty, what do you think is going to happen? Do you know when they were going through the whole cash thing? There was a time they were doing the change of cash. Do you know one man's wife, unalive, he was looking for money to get money from the bank. They wouldn't give him. They said the man stripped, wore nothing to see if he
I
could
had the video.
elicit.
I had the video before.
Yes,
yeah, it was trending.
And they didn't give him the money, and guess what? The wife passed away because she could not pay bills. And you know, in the United States, at least they have to treat you. So this is what I'm going to have faith in, and I'm going to say we have insecurity now. What do you think is going to be the insecurity then when all this happens? This is what scares me. I would love for this to work. I don't take any happiness in hearing this, but what I see is a disaster. I pray that it's DOA. I pray that it doesn't work so that at least the people can get a little break. This is me, or who doesn't live there? Okay.
Hello, Abby. Are you there? Hello. Are you there?
Something wrong
Hello,
with
Abby.
there's something wrong with the network because it went out on me, so I didn't hear anything either.
Hello.
Abby, can you hear us? Abby, can you hear us?
I think Abby network is cut off.
Can you hear me?
Is that Abby?
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
this is Rose. No, I
I can
Oh,
hear you, Auntie Rose. I
something
can
is
hear you.
wrong with the net. Something is wrong with the network because at a certain point I wasn't even hearing you, any
Yeah,
of you. So I don't
same
know.
thing here. But I can hear both of you now. Only Abby is off now. I hope
yeah.
it's
It's
not
only
UK's network.
Abby. I actually think all of this, whatever, is a show. Like I said earlier, they want to do something to show that they are working,
But
and
who are they?
with
Who are they showing? Who are they showing it to? And
that is it. That's Nigerian syndrome. There's a lot of things to be addressed. All the insecurity, you are not addressing it, and you're coming to talk about tax and no tax.
But
And
they said that Tinubu opened. They said there was a company or something he opened that is his own personal institution where this money is going to be going to. I
of
wish I could
course,
find.
yes.
You are right, Auntie
I
Rose.
said it earlier that this project is to benefit some people. And who are the
Mr. Rose,
people? It is usually their circles, their clique.
Mm-hmm.
he
So that is
opened
what
a
it is.
company.
If you see what this lady explained, talking about 400 pages, talking about people getting accountants. Who are the people that are going to get the accountant? And with all the tax exemptions, and you think these things are really reliable, they just bringing it to make people to believe that they are working, they are doing something, and at the end of the day, this project is going to take so much money which goes into their pocket. It is as simple as that. That is what I see about all of this. At the end of the day, if eventually it's going to work, when it start working, you see that all this exemption will be removed. That is Nigerian for you.
Exactly. It's a joke.
So
Absolutely.
they're just trying to see what is going to benefit them. How they going to put it into system? How they going to create job for the people that they know? How they going to equip the company that they are opening today? That is exactly what I see in all of this. It's all a sham. It's a scam.
Hmm.
That's what I
There was a
see.
company that was opened by the president when he was still in Lagos State Governor. So I think allegedly the company was in charge of the Lagos State Inland Revenue Board, taxing and everything. They were the sole administrator for that. So I don't know, maybe they want to apply the same thing to the national level, but he had something like that when he was the governor of Lagos State. He had a kind of a tax consultant company that was in charge of the revenue in Lagos then. So, but I don't know, maybe that's what they're planning to do on national level, allegedly. But you are right. You are right. All these things, that's why people they have lost confidence in whatever they are telling the people. People no longer want to believe them because they end up saying something and then they go and do something else
Yeah.
over and over again. So it's not
Abby
really
is
nice at
back.
all.
I think Abby is back.
Yeah, I've been back for a while. Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what happened. I just got kicked out. Okay, I don't know. I don't think there's any other talking points or content
Mm-hmm.
as far as I'm aware of. So
Huh?
maybe 2 hours. Yeah, maybe we can, I don't know, give our closing words. I'm not sure where Uncle Ben is.
Actually,
Okay.
we can give our closing work. We've already exhausted all the topics that we're supposed to talk about this tax. This was just to create awareness about the tax, and this just to teach the people what to expect and what are the possible implications of what may come year 2026. And I think we have really exhausted it all. So I think it's time that we should start giving our round off so that we can go. It's already 3 hours going now for the
Yeah,
show.
around 2 hours.
So
Yeah.
to me, what I would like to see is that an average Nigerian now, our mindset should be looking at this policy, looking at this new tax law, see where it affects you as an individual or maybe as a corporate body, and try to prepare yourself for what is coming ahead. And I also pray also, this may not be another walk in the park for our government just to come again, rip the people off of their hard money, and then only to say nothing, only to give nothing back in return. So it has really become something that is now like an old tune. Just old. If you remember all those plate records that they used to play in those olden days, and then once it got it crashed somewhere, it will be repeating on that circle. That become like that, like a broken record, just repeating itself over and over and over and over again. So people are tired of it. Let us move forward. It does not cost much. It does not take much to do the right thing. All this money that they're just busy allegedly sharing between themselves is more than enough to put basic amenities in this country. It is more than enough. Nigeria is not poor. We only have problem of
They will still
mismanagement.
have change to steal.
Yes, we never lack legislation. We have good laws all the time. It's our implementation that is always a problem. So when people are talking, as if this new law that they're talking about, it's not as if everything about it is new. Even the man that came to analyze it said it, that most of the laws were the laws that have been existing before, that they just brought everything together to be able to now implement it as one. So it's not as the legislation has been there, but now decided to say, okay, let us just fine tune it and then and now represent it. So and that's what they are doing. However, their implementation is what really concerns me. Let them implement it the right way they're supposed to do it, and then let them do it with the mindset of the people, of the impact of it on the people. Already, as I'm talking to you, Abby, you cannot send any money above 10,000. Your bank will remove 15 naira from it.
Yeah, of course.
If you receive any money now, if I send you 10,000 naira now, Abby, as Nigerian, if I send 10,000, you are going to get 9,000 naira and 95 naira, because bank will automatically deduct 15 naira from it. And your bank will also remove card maintenance charges. Your ATM card, they will remove their charges by the end of the month. They will remove their SMS charges. The money that is leaving your bank account alone already, it is much more than any tax that they can even bring up again. Because I don't know why everybody just take advantage of these people in this country. That's why many people are saying that they don't want to put their money in the bank. But now they're pushing towards it.
Okay, you're cutting off, or you've cut off. Yeah, wow, this network today. Uncle Dio. Can anybody else hear me? Sister Rose, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so it's Uncle Dio. Uncle Dio, cut off, sir. Maybe you received a call.
I think everyone's network is being funny, even mine.
Maybe it's Tinubu that's coming for us. Allegedly. Sister Rose, what are your closing words while we wait for Uncle Dio?
Well, I don't know. Abby, I'm kind of exhausted with the situation in Nigeria. There is no good intention. All this stuff, no offense to anybody, it's just theorizing. It was not done with any intention of doing reform or this, that, or the other. Because if it was, we would have basic providing. To say that you're providing electricity and water is a joke to most, even places like Poland and Turkey, which are not even rich countries, they provide that. So that's very basic. If this was an administration that meant well, they would have done the very basics. You're not doing the basics. It will never change. They will continue to take advantage. But I'm tired of giving people solutions in Nigeria because everybody wants to be a coward and duck their head in the sand. So keep ducking your head in the sand. But if you don't stand up, it will continue and continue. That's why they're doing it, because I don't even know where he got the audacity to do this. So for you to do that, it's audacity, because the people do nothing. And when I say do something, I'm not talking about protest, but leave it at that. That's all I have to say.
No problem. Thank you so much, Sister Rose. See you later.
Good night.
Good night, sis. Bye. I'm gonna read the last couple comments to give Uncle Dio time to come back and maybe even Uncle Ben. Cool. So this comment is from Agbese Chima. He says, "Good for you. The government paid you to advise people on tax. Keep the APC on." I don't know what that means. So, Anthony is saying, "I guess I'll be opening a company in Niger." Yeah, I hope that's even the solution. Kokotsun says, "Since Tinubu has decided to copy European style of tax, what are they going to give the people in return?" That's what we're saying, that it made sense for there to be an incentive. Do some things first, put things in place, regulate the economy first, and then maybe when you come back to say you want to put in this whole tax system in place, people would even be willing because they can see the importance. But they haven't done that. In usual Niger fashion, they are not setting their priorities straight. And so he's saying, you may be surprised. Those selling lace at Idumota, some actually have accountants. So my cousins and aunts who sell there do. Yes, yes. I mean, they do, but you get my point. Generally, was it's going to improve. It's going to increase another aspect of what's the word? What you call it? Corruption, because even little things like parking. If you go to Lagos now with the parking and all, a lot of the area boys, the touts have taken over parking. You need to pay them to park. It's simple things like this. They tend to take over in those sort of areas. So what is the point? And so you also say, remember there are children who are very well educated and some who have schooled abroad are very savvy and recognize the importance of having accountants. True. Uncle Dara is saying those women selling lace you mentioned in Zumota, most of them are millionaires. They can afford to pay account consultants. Can you say that about Gary Seller? Unfortunately, that's the issue. Kingface 867 saying Nigeria will never get better because it's a British company. Divide that company. Chucky is saying all these will just further invite the military to take over. Why do you Nigerians care? Nigeria was not built for you, it was built for whatever. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you haven't liked, this is also a chance for you to like the video. Season's greetings, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.